best shot.
What is going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Real Hunting. It's your boy Brad. The Brett Man is over there. We hope you all had a fantastic New Year's, a Merry Christmas, and all the freaking jazz. We're through the holidays. We're on to 2025, and there's no better way to kick off 2025 than to celebrate the top 20 movies of 2024. And that's what we're going to be doing here tonight. Bert and I, we're both going to be giving you our top 20 movies of the year, celebrating what was a pretty solid year of 2024, Birdie boy.
Oh, dude, absolutely it is. But, dude, man, barely made it to 2025. I didn't think 2025 was ever going to happen. But, hey, we're here. But, Brad, we got breaking news.
What
this
is it?
Pretty huge. Because, according to Destiny, Manscaped played before Good Real Hunting start. So, we are kicking it off in a big way. So, ladies and gentlemen, to please yourself and the lady and your lady friends, Manscaped is the way to go. Officially not a sponsor, but anyway,
kind of
I just
also
thought
is because they're playing ads. So whatever, we'll take it.
Hey,
what's going on though?
Ad revenues, though. But hey, no, I just thought that was hilarious. And Destiny, what's going on? Yeah. So and of course, shave your balls. More importantly,
and
shave the hashtag shave balls.
Shave the will. Yeah, shave your balls, all that stuff. Shave your balls to save your balls. That's what I'll say. I don't know if there's any correlation, but we'll say that there is.
For just $9.99 a month, you can help one individual shave their ball. Now, okay, we're done with all that. We're glad that you're here. Like Brad said, we hopefully all had a great Christmas, great Feliz Navidad, a great Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Easter, and New Year's. So hopefully y'all had great holidays around. We're glad to be back, kicking off with top 20 movies of the year 2024. Before Brad, next week, we'll get the freaking dive into those most anticipated movies from 2025.
Yeah, we got actually a whole plethora of things we're doing this month. Obviously, end of year stuff, beginning of the year stuff, all that good stuff. So we'll have something similar like that. If it's not the anticipated list next week, it'll be something else for 2024. But either way, stay tuned for it. We're going to kick ass with it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite periods of the year, is just to celebrating some good years and looking forward to the ones upcoming.
Dude, and speaking of good years, I figured now would be the time to let y'all know either Sunday or Monday, if I click the right one, get ready for the Real Horror Awards. The official way the vote for the Real Horror Awards will be kicking off on Sunday at the latest Monday, where you all can finally vote on the particular categories of who wins each category. And then, of course, as you saw in the intro, February the 6th will be the Real Horror Awards, where you all get to find out who wins.
Yeah, that's right, dude. And we've been, obviously it's been kind of shaky these last couple of months as we've been trying to transition a couple transitions. For us, for me and everything, but we're kind of back in the swing of things now, and we did manage to get a skit shot through all the crazy shit that's been going on in our lives over the last month or two. We did manage to get a skit done for that.
Mainly in his life.
Yeah, mainly. I just didn't want to take all the credit. Yeah.
I'm glad you're not a selfish bastard.
Well, yeah, I try not to be. Yeah, I mean, for you, I think most of you all know, but I moved here recently, and it's been crazy, packing up a house, unpacking another house, and all kinds of other stuff going on top of that. But
or being a lazy piece of shit and hang out in a hot tub without truly. Like I've
been doing that, and I wish I was doing that right now. Yeah, But not only did I moved states and stuff, so it's been pretty hectic and right around the holidays, so it's just been crazy. But I think for all intents and purposes, we did pretty well with keeping up the schedule. I know I did a couple episodes away from home in between houses, and now I'm at the new house now, so we should be able to kind of get things back rolling now.
Yes, sir.
And get some sense of schedule back.
Hell yes, until something else happens during the middle part of the year. But we'll get to that when we get to that, my amigo, which I'm very excited. Which I'm very excited for you. So, speaking of going from state to state, should we say hello to the other people from states to states?
I skipped a state though, Birdie. I jumped right over Tennessee.
Well, you're an asshole because you. I can't say where you are, but you damn people. So screw you all. Even though one particular YouTube channel would like your presence being there, but that's just a little hint. But let's say hello to everybody. We got Miss Erica Lauren. What's going on? How are you doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well. We got Lamantra. What's going on there, Lamantra? How are you doing? We got Chester. What's going on there, Chester? I know he's excited for his Lions for a humongous opportunity on Sunday, which hopefully we get to do a Beers with the Bros episode next week because it's freaking playoff time. But we'll let you all know if that's a possibility. Brother Fluff, if Borderlands isn't number one on this list by a mile, it is rigged and bullshit. Spoiler. It's because I didn't watch the fucking movie because I heard how atrocious it was.
That's actually that brings up a point though. You know what?
It.
No, go ahead and do this. Keep saying hellos.
Okay, well, I was going to just compliment that we're both wearing freaking the Art the Clown shirt, so that was not done intentionally. Gory Tiger, what's going on, Gory? How are you doing? We got a Tanis in the house. What's going on? We got Zodiac Z. What's going on there, Zodiac Z? How are you doing? We don't know those good real assholes. For your gotta fight for your right to good real. All right, what else we got here?
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, just pretend that didn't happen. But we got Cody Snyder, who's been a member for an entire month. Cody, you have a lot of balls, my friend. So be sure to get some Manscaped. But a lot of balls for being a member for the Good Real community, especially on the Real Hunter side of things. So thank you so much for 1 month saying Happy New Year, Good Reelers. We got Brooke. What's going on there, Brooke? How are you doing? Trying to hustle this because I know we got a little bit of a late start. Ashton Luck. What's going on there, Ashton? How are you doing? We did say hello to Destiny, but let's do it again. What's going on there, Destiny? How are you doing? Had a birthday a couple of days ago, so hopefully you had a phenomenal birthday and you got everything that you wanted.
Yeah.
Here. Yeah, Brad, were you nice to her on her birthday? Because I know y'all like to disagree a lot.
I wasn't particularly mean to her, but I didn't say happy birthday, so I don't know if that counts.
Well, that's being an asshole. What the fuck?
Well, I didn't know, but now I know.
What
so happy late.
No, what were you?
I said happy
on
late
New Year's Eve.
Happy late birthday, Destiny. Sorry I missed you on your birthday. My apologies.
Well, she'll kick your ass someday, but you know what? Better late than never. So, Brad, you oh my gosh, you mean sweet shin music? Yeah. Gene, what's going on there, Gene? How are you doing? Happy New Year! Happy New Year to you as well. We got Veronica. What's going on there, Veronica? R.I.P. Olivia Hussey. Yeah, unfortunately, Olivia Hussey did pass away, and something for the Real Horror Awards. And again, if Holly Klein was in here, I want to give her roses with this idea. She suggested for the Real Horror Awards to doing a memoriam, which I will be underway of making a memoriam, just, celebrating the beautiful lives of our horror icons for the year of 2024 that we unfortunately lost. So, Veronica, hopefully all is going well. We got Jamie Hard. What's going on there, Jamie? How are you doing? Escape your junk. I like that. So who else we got in here? I don't want to make sure I miss anybody. We got Vanderhoff. What's going on there, Vanderhoff? How are you doing, buddy? We got Yo Adrian. How you doing? Adrian James in the chat. Who else we got in here? Let's see here. Oh, Brad. Cody Snyder just gifted 5 Good Real memberships. What a fucking way to start off 2025.
Hell yeah, dude. Thanks a lot for that. That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Let me get a little clip here. What clip can I use here? You know what? I'm gonna do this just because I feel sorry for him because you kicked his ass in a fantasy championship. So let's play his super chat.
I want to know what.
Sorry, wrong person. Courtney Reed, I'll owe you another one. Here we go.
And you are God. I killed my friend, you motherfucker!
So Cody Snyder, thank you so much, my friend.
Yeah, dude, thanks so much.
We got Sergeant Shitty. Sergeant, how are you doing? Who else we got in here? The one I never want to make sure I leave anybody out. We got Tim Talkies. What's going on? How are you doing? And yeah, what a dick. What a dick.
Hey, listen, I didn't know it was your birthday. My apologies. I'm sorry. I know now.
And you told her.
I'm sorry.
You told her last year.
I did.
But when last year technically be where you recently though?
True. It would have been 2 years. It would have been It wasn't in 2024. It would have been 2023. But that's again. It's been a hectic few weeks for me. I don't even know what day of the week it is right now. I'm assuming it's Thursday because Good Will Hunting is live.
Because we.
But other than that, I don't know. It's been such a whirlwind that I don't even know. I didn't even get to see any football games during my fantasy championship the other day. It was crazy.
Yeah, I
didn't even know I was in the championship, to be honest.
I had to tell this fool that he was winning the fantasy championship. He goes, "No shit," and then that's where he checked.
I've been up to my elbows in boxes. It's been crazy. I didn't even know it was New Year's. Is it 2025 now? That's crazy. Wow.
I know. I am telling you. And we got the movie ranker here of freaking Nick Cooling. What's going on? I'm not surprised. I usually say dumb shit to get me knocked out anyway. So, Destiny, I apologize. But it is technically 2 years. So, yeah, look, balloons. Yeah. See here.
Those are your birthday balloons, Destiny. Congrats.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do it again.
What the fuck?
Well, that's what happens with technology. But speaking of technology and us getting this nice technological things, there's one group of people we have to thank. Is our freaking real hunters. They're the ones that make it happen for us to get us like nice equipment so we can be the best that we can be for you all. So real hunters, the Patreon side, you all the official backbone of this channel. Thank you all so much. And if you want to join the real hunter what?
Isn't it crazy that Jackson's taller than us both now? More or less.
Dude, I don't want to talk about it. Because when I saw him last for a particular something, I didn't want to mention that comment, but you're lucky that I had the high ground. So I was throwing a Star Wars pun. But guys, if you want to be a real hunter on the Patreon side, the Patreon link, it's in the description down below. Click the link, select any tier to your heart's desire so you all could be a real hunter today. But just in case if Patreon scares you, we got YouTube memberships available as well. We just even added 5 more. So for the next live stream we do for next week, I will update this card again because we love seeing all these beautiful faces supporting us as real hunters on the YouTube side of things. You know why, Brad? Because for as low as 99 cents, let me repeat that. 99 cents. You could be supporting us and get cool badges, use awesome emojis, much more, Brad. So you all can, I've totally forgot my line. It's been a while since. So you all can be a real hunter today. Fuck.
Yeah, and if you can't do those things, just being here in the video, liking the video, subscribing, sharing, telling your friends, all that stuff helps out tremendously as well. So we appreciate all that stuff too.
Yes, and understood that reference. And you know what? I understood your reference right there, Captain America.
So, what the fuck's going on, dude?
I do not know. But you know what, Fo? I think it is time to get on with the topic of this episode. We're doing our top 20 movies of 2024. So that both combines the horror genre and the non-horror genre. We are combining them all. And Brad, before we get started, how many movies did you watch for 2024?
See, that's the caveat I was going to throw out there earlier. I think I only watched let's see, like 37 movies. So we're doing basically my top half. It's been a bit of a crazy year for me, so I was actually a bit low on my watches. But there wasn't a lot of bad ones really that I saw because I just didn't waste my time with things that I watched Night Swim. That was shit. But other than that, I mean, the rest of them, I mean, at least had something about them that was decent.
But I'll tell you this, though. You want to take a guess how many that the Brat Man has watched?
I'm sure it's like 800 or something.
No, that would be somebody else. But it is not. So if you want to take one good guess.
I don't know, 78,
So damn close. Subtract 4.
74.
Yeah, I watched 74 2024 movies this past year.
Wow, man, that's pretty good, man. That's
And most of
solid.
them, unfortunately, or I would say unfortunately, because they're like the top half I was glad to see in the theater. But the other half, I got to see most of them in the theater, and they were not money well spent.
Yeah, I mean that's why. Again, I just don't. I don't. I don't want to go spend money on something I know I'm not going to like. But I will do more. I did get halfway through Anora last night, but I didn't quite wrap it up, so I'm not going to throw it
Oh,
into
did
my
you buy
ranking.
Anora?
Well, yeah. I mean, I rented it, so I got.
Oh,
I'm
you gotta
watching.
buy that shit, man. That is money well worth spent. And I was trying to
Yeah.
answer a question here. See here, Desi said, how many movies did y'all watch in total? According to my Letterboxd for 2024, 221 movies. Not near enough I normally do.
I don't really know how to tell that.
You go to Letterboxd on your main profile. It might be a Patreon thing. Actually, no, I don't think it is a Patreon thing. But yeah, go. I signed up for a Patreon on Letterboxd, so I get to change posters and everything. Being all fancy. But yeah, if you go to your main screen, Brad, for Letterboxd, your main page, if you see films, it should be like towards the right.
Oh, okay. I got 93 in 2024. So
holy shit.
Yeah. Now this not. I don't count any of the ones we do for like watch parties and stuff or anything like that. So there might have been a few more in there, but unless I'm actually sitting there watching it and paying attention to it, I don't log it. So sometimes I'll put stuff on in the background or I'll do a watch party or whatever, though I don't count those.
Well, Brad, even if you combine ours, it's nowhere near close as to Desi's 514 movies she watched for 2024.
That's freaking. That's wild, man. Getting some work done out there. I like it. I dig it, man. I'm digging it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you're going to have a goal of getting 600 movies in for 2025. That should be the goal. Always raise your goals. So, but yeah, that is awesome. 514. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy, man.
That's awesome. Right. So guys, as we are doing our top 20, if you want to include your top 5, I'll star them. And then when we get to our top 5, I will give you all a special, celebrate the chat. We'll get you all a special shout out for your top 5 movies of 2024, and we'll share them before we do our top 5. So go ahead right now, and Brad, you can help me with this. Star every chance you see somebody else's top 5 on this list. Or if you just want to play along with us as we go for our top 20, be happy to do so. So, Brad, without further ado, before we even get to the top 20, I want to go over any honorable mentions. So this doesn't have to necessarily be your 21 or 22, but is there just any movies below the top 20 that you just want to give an honorable shout out to?
Yeah, I'll throw a couple out there, man. We talked about, we did the review for this one, Low Lifes. We saw Jason Smith threw that recommendation out. We watched it. Thought it was that was a Tubi movie, Tubi original horror movie. There's some cannibal stuff going on there. I thought it was really creative in the way that it told the story. And, there's some twist in there that we didn't see coming. And I really liked it for that. So if you haven't checked that one out on Tubi, I would watch it. It's definitely worth the time. It's free. So anybody can go in there and watch it. So I would recommend that. And another one that I thought was better than expected, than anticipated, I should say, would be the new Beverly Hills Cop movie, Axel Foley or whatever it's called, on Netflix. And I'm someone who I just watched the first Beverly Hills. Did I say Beverly Hills Ninja or Beverly Hills Cop? Either way, I meant Beverly Hills Cop.
We should be watching Beverly Hills Ninja. I'm not sure what the hell we're honestly doing, but I heard that Beverly Hills Cop Netflix movie is really good, and I actually do need to add that to my watch list. So
I was somebody who I didn't see the first one until a few years ago, and I don't think I've seen the second or third one, so I'm not really nostalgically driven when it comes to this franchise or anything. I thought this movie would suck just based on how all the comedies come. If 20 years later or 30 years later, whatever. But it was actually pretty solid and it was fun. Now, it was higher up on my list, but I don't really remember a lot that happened in it, so it kind of dropped because I guess it wasn't that memorable, but it was fun. It was a good time. I remember being pleasantly surprised with it, so I did want to throw that shout out there.
Hell yeah, dude. Two strong honorable mentions, my friend. And I saw Eli Cortez just joined us in the chat. What's going on? And I already saw Cody make a comment. So yeah, I just wanted to let y'all, or Eli wanted to let you know that Cody Snyder was trying to get in contact for you for a particular reason. So be sure to link up, however you want to freaking do it. Just be safe out there.
Yeah.
So let's
Safety
see here.
Key.
And we also got Big Graham for a shout out. What's going on, Big Graham? There's your shout out, my friend. And sorry I didn't have y'all cover your all's ears.
Yeah, please do that.
So, and okay. So my honorable mentions. I'm going to mention 3. I'm not going to go too much into detail about them, but I just want to throw out 3 honorable mentions. The first honorable mention is I want to throw out Roadhouse.
That was
because
a good one,
my
man.
God, did everybody think this movie was going to suck? And some of y'all actually do think that this movie does suck. If you do, I'm sorry, you're wrong, because I had a phenomenal time with this movie. I was not expecting to have a phenomenal time with this movie, but freaking Jake Gyllenhaal and freaking Conor McGregor, which I know he's on the naughty list now, but before that naughty list thing happened, he was really good in the movie. So Brad, remind me to delete that clip because we don't like to show pieces of shit on our channel. So, but the movie was still highly entertaining. So my second honorable mention is going to be The Fall Guy with freaking Ryan Gosling and Brad, your freaking celebrity girl crush of Emily Hunt. Just,
Emily Blunt.
Right. Emily Blunt? What did I say?
Emily Hunt.
Okay, well, sorry, I got Mission Impossible in my brain. Sorry, I'm just looking forward to next week. But Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling had amazing chemistry, comedic chemistry. They were great. This was just a fun action movie. And I'm actually glad a movie like this does exist now because it really does just take you behind the camera of a stuntsman. Because honestly, they should get their own category at the Oscars. Even at the Real Horror Awards, if I just knew there was such a thing, a way we can celebrate that. So, yeah, I'm just glad that movie was created and it's such a fun time. And my last honorable mention, I got to give a shout out to the horror genre for this, and that is The First Omen. Brad, this close for missing out on that top 20. I really wanted to put this movie in my top 20. Definitely one of my most surprising horror movies of 2024. We all thought this movie was going to be absolute garbage, but it turned out to be one of the big shockers of the year. And maybe it could win some potential awards at the Real Horror Awards. That would be up to you all starting Sunday or Monday. So I'm so looking forward to that. But I just want to give the roses or the 666 outs to The First Omen.
Yeah, buddy, man. I love that flick. I love it.
Oh, I have a good feeling it'll be in your top 20. But hey, speaking of top 20, are you ready?
Yeah, let's crank into it, man.
Brad, no, motherfucker. I said, are you ready?
Yeah.
There we go. That's the spirit. Go ahead with your number 20.
All right, let's get the list pulled up. Number 20 for one. I just watched this movie actually just like a week or two ago for the tournament that we did, even though it wasn't even on the tournament. But that's going to be Speak No Evil. And, I like this. I thought it was, I didn't, there were some things about it that the characters in the movie were absolute trash. I mean, they weren't trash, but they were dumb as fuck. Some of the dumbest characters I've seen in a long time. And that took me out of the movie a lot throughout. But James McAvoy was so good as like the villain in this that it carried it up into my top 20, just barely making it at number 20. I thought his performance was one of the best I saw all year, particularly in the horror genre. He really made that movie what it is. Without him, the movie would have probably kind of sucked. But he played a really creepy, just like you something's off about him, but you don't know what just yet. And the whole movie's kind of dangling that carrot in front of you, but you kind of, you finally figured it out at the end. So yeah, I liked it. I thought he portrayed it really well. He's the poster guy for the movie, and rightfully so. He was great, and he cracked it into my top 20.
Hell yeah, dude. And I forgot to mention that Mega Cat was here. What's going on there, Mega Cat? Saying my dogs are like war feds now after New Year's Eve. Fully autos going off everywhere. And I think I heard an RPG.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Hey, you know what? If you're going to go big, man. Get out the freaking artillery.
Hey, at least just be safe. That's all I got. Just recommend is just be safe. And Desi said, I actually really like the remake part. I hated it once they started to change the story. James McAvoy is great as always, which I do agree. I wish, again, I could put this in my top 20. But again, so many great options. So I wasn't able to do it. But Brad, I was glad you're able to.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So let's see here. Let's go with my number 20. It's going to be the one that barely beat it out the first Omen. I had to really think about this. So my number 20 is going to be Late Night with the Devil. That came out on Shudder. I've been hearing about this movie for quite some time. Was ready to watch it on Shudder. And then all of a sudden it said, you know what? We're going to release this in the movie theater and just see how well it did. And it did very, very well. I was very pleased with this movie. I like the cinematography of this movie that really just brings you back to the just to the 70s, like the saying that they want you to be a part of, like to get the feel of, get your TV dinner, just have a good time with this movie. However, batshit crazy shit happens in this movie, and it's just something you do not want to miss out on. So if you've not seen Late Night of the Devil, what are you doing? Go watch it on Shudder. Very, very good movie. So my number 20 is Late Night with the Devil.
Doozy of a pick. I'm going to move on to 19 here, and for 19, I'm going to go with Alex Garland's Civil War. The movie came out. I wasn't disappointed with it. I just kind of wanted a little bit more from it. It played things really. I wouldn't say it played it safe, but it's basically kind of like an alternate future kind of movie where, well, maybe not so much maybe a little bit alternate with the way the states are lined up, with Texas and California being on one side. That was a little weird, but but yeah, it's basically the movie is set during a period of civil war in America, and it's got some tense moments in it, but I kind of wanted it to be a bit more tense. It kind of rode the line. The story was told through the lens of like a photographic journalist or whatever, kind of going through war, taking pictures of the war, played by what the hell is her name? Come on, Birdie boy, what's her name?
Kirsten Dunst.
Yes, Kirsten Dunst. Thank you. Slipping on me. I always slip and jump me. Anyway, she's this photographic journalist going through civil wars, taking pictures of violent shit and all kinds of crazy stuff. And it's really kind of just like a little bit more chill than I wanted it to be. I thought the story, though, in general, was done really well. I thought it was, saying some intriguing things throughout it, and I like that aspect of it. Again, the shots were great. All the stuff that from Alex Garland, he was top notch here as always. But I think I wanted a little bit more tension from it. The one scene we got with Jesse Plemons was fantastic. The one they showed in the trailer, but that was only like 5 minutes of the movie. And the rest of it wasn't as tense as I wanted. So it slipped down to 19, but still a very solid film. And I'm still glad it wasn't like a war movie per se. So I appreciate it for not doing that. I just wanted some more tension out of it.
There you go. And I kind of agree with you. It did lower down on my ranking as well. It started pretty damn high. It was like in the top 5 at one point. And then I think I remember it just like, actually, you know what? Okay, no, it definitely moved down. Sorry, I was like, well, I probably have to talk about it later, so I can't talk too bad about it. But no, I don't see it on here, so it definitely moved down. But I want to say hello to 2 people that just recently joined us. Hello. We got Ryan. What's going on there, Ryan? How are you doing? A Light Smile Tooth and Terrifier 3. Ooh, would those be on our top list? You'll have to stay tuned and find out. And then we got Ring of Horror. What's going on there, Ring of Horror? How are you doing? I think your biggest fan has to be Roman Reigns. See what I did there?
I do.
I know. I got to stop with my damn. I made a New Year's resolution to not do as many puns. And as you can obviously tell, I failed that 1201.
Yeah,
But
it didn't last
anyways,
very long.
but hey, you know me, I'm just an old ass here. Hey, speaking of old ass, that's a perfect transition. My number 19, Brad. It's a little movie called My Old Ass. No, I'm not talking about My Old Ass. I'm talking about the movie My Old Ass. That stars Aubrey Plaza in the movie. And really just want to give a main shout out to this movie that recently, like when I watched this movie and The Fallout, which is the director of Megan Park, I'm just a fan of that director now. So I'm looking forward to any more movies that she does. And I think her best movie is definitely this movie of My Old Ass, Aubrey Plaza, which if I will say it's not really a spoiler, but just a little warning. If you are a diehard Aubrey Plaza fan, you're going to be disappointed with how much she's in the movie. That's all I'm going to say on that. Just keep your expectations low with the amount of time she appears. But when she does appear on screen, she absolutely makes the most of it. So, and the last thing I'll say about this movie is this is a good movie, honestly, to show to your senior child getting ready to start their college journey, because it does tackle a lot of issues. Tackles a lot of things into the movie that get you prepared from that transition from high school to college. So definitely give that a check out. Yeah, and just watch My Old Ass.
Yeah, but not Bert's old ass.
Yeah, not my old ass. You ain't going to see much. But anyways, because of that Manscaped. So
okay, where are we at? 18 now, I think?
We are at 18, my friend.
That for me is going to be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This was I thought the original, not the original, but the modern trilogy of Planet of the Apes was perfect. I didn't really think they needed to add anything onto it. And I didn't really realize that they were until I saw this trailer pop up at one point in one of the movies I was watching. I was like, wow, they're making another Planet of the Apes movie. I didn't know what they were going to do, but this one takes, the story is set, I think, like 200 years after the events of that trilogy or something ridiculously.
It's something like that.
Yeah, it's long in the future, and there's very little remnants of human life out there still. There's still some humans out there, but for the most part, they're held in captivity from the apes now. Or something like that. There's not a lot of the world is totally run by apes. Everything's overgrown. It's nature has taken over the world. It's actually really cool in that regard, where you see all these like old skyscrapers and stuff, and the way they're looking. A couple hundred years in the future, they're all kind of falling apart and overrun with trees and vines and all this kind of cool stuff. I like that aspect of it a lot. It takes on a whole new story, and it's an interesting story because it's about basically a group of apes that's so so loyal to Caesar, but they're so far removed from him that they're kind of misconstruing a lot of the principles that he set forth when this whole thing began, and they're going a little bit too far in the direction that he was initially trying to go. Caesar was, and they're missing some of the more I guess human elements to his character that he had, Caesar and whatnot. And it's just, it's basically taken it to the next level. And now they're the bad guys of this. And then, there's a new ape that kind of takes the primary role here in this. And I thought he was great. I liked him a lot. This movie might've been a little bit higher for me, but it unfortunately came out earlier in the year. So it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. There's really not a lot of things wrong with it. It was a little long, and some of the bits of it were a little bit slow, but in general, it was a really good time. And I thought it was a really good addition to this franchise. Really didn't drop a beat in quality, maybe a little bit from that last trilogy, but it's right up there with it. So solid flick overall. Really enjoyed it, and looking forward to throwing it on again at some point.
Yeah, and just in the future where we get more, because this is technically supposed to be another trilogy within this world too. So.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, man. I'm looking forward to it. I like the fact that they set it so far ahead that you can tell a whole other story now. It's kind of like Star Wars, where you can just go in all these different eras, although they never do.
You can't mention that.
Yeah, well, they do the eras and stuff, but but they never really do. But yeah, it's kind of like that, where you can just kind of set it so far out there and create a whole new idea.
Absolutely. And dude, and I cannot wait to talk about that movie here in a little bit, maybe sooner than you think. But I need to go ahead and get to my number 18 foe. And I'll probably be honest with you, with this particular one, might be the most shocking movie. As I know right now, I need to continue looking at my list just to make sure I get that correct. I'll do that as Brad's going through his 17. But right now, I do declare that this will be my most surprising movie of my top 20. And that is going to be Transformers 1. Yes, I understand what y'all are thinking. Brett, come on, an animated movie like this is supposed to be for children. Nothing wrong with a children's movie, but what is there for adults? I'll tell you this: there's plenty of things for adults in this movie, but more importantly, what surprised me the most was the script, the story of how damn well it does developing the characters of Optimus Prime and Megatron before they were Optimus Prime and Megatron started out as best friends into the movie turn out to be ferocious rivals, and they did a phenomenal job just building those two characters up from beginning to end. Like Mufasa, that just recently came out, could have learned a lot from Transformers 1 with how to write a proper script of building a bond between characters. And just a lot of the jokes were great. And lastly, the animation, spectacular. I think one other movie did the animation a lot better, and I will get to that way later on this list. But I definitely want to throw its roses to Transformers 1. I think it'll definitely be one of the more underrated movies for 2024. And honestly, roll out and check it out.
Oh, yeah. I dig it. Okay. So where are we at? 17 now.
17.
Okay, so 17. It's going to be the Radio Silence flick, Abigail. This was one I felt I didn't dislike the movie by any regard. I had a good time with it. I enjoyed it, but I still felt a little disappointed by it. I kind of wanted more. I thought for me, it's the weakest Radio Silence movie to date. And again, that's not saying much because they got a very strong track record, at least of the big ones that they've done since Ready or Not. Ready or Not, this 2 Scream movies, and now this. This is the where they kidnap this girl. She ends up being a vampire, and it's a really cool premise. I thought the characters in general were pretty strong in the movie. I thought they were all pretty fun. The Abigail character herself was great. What lost it for me was like the ending. It just kind of gets crazy in the third act. It kind of loses me there towards the end. Too much going on there. But in general, I had a really good time with the characters in this, and the dialogue is always what they're able to do. They have a lot of, they throw a group of characters at you. They give them all their own little tropes and whatnot, their own little quirks that make them unique, and they do a good job when they're all in one room talking to each other. The dialogue's top notch with that. Even though these characters are supposed to be particularly, like bad guys because they're kidnapping kids and stuff, but you still have a good time with them. I like the movie a lot. I just, I kind of thought it would have been in my top 5 when the movie was announced. Like I kind of expected this movie to be my top 5, top 10, somewhere in there, but it didn't quite make the mark.
Well, son of a bitch, Brad, why did it not make the mark? But you know what? I'm joking with you because it's exactly where it needs to be, because my 17, Brad, is also Abigail. So Abigail, I agree with it being number 17. I agree with Brad. Probably the weakest out of the Radio Silence films they've done so far. But again, that's nothing wrong with that, since Radio Silence has released banger after banger after banger. So that always just tells me anytime Radio Silence is directing something, I'm absolutely going day one at the theater. Another reason why I'm giving this movie such a praise in my top 20. This was my birthday movie. It came out on the week of my birthday, so I always hold those movies highly regarded, very close to my heart, because I do like to celebrate my birthday a lot, as a lot of you all know, especially Brad over here. He knows how much I love to celebrate my birthday.
Basically, the whole month of April, and then also March and May, and then a little bit of February.
Well,
and
I
June
don't take as full advantage of March because that's supposed to be your birthday. See, I'm not a selfish asshole. Okay, I'm a little bit, especially that last week of March. But yeah, but Abigail, though, it's such a great time. You're gonna have a guaranteed fun time with this movie. Kevin Durant, wait, is that his name? Let me look real quick. I don't want to mess up because I definitely want to give him his. Yeah, Kevin Durant, who also plays in the voiceover of freaking Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, as Brad alluded talked about that movie earlier, but he was the Wonderful Day Ape. And also just the main thing about Abigail that I really loved is freaking Melissa Barrera. She proved to me that Scream doesn't have to be her shining moment. Abigail definitely broke her out, and I think Melissa Barrera is going to get way more opportunities, hopefully bigger opportunities, but we're building in baby steps with her. But she definitely proved her worth, that she is just more than Sam Carpenter. She could be freaking Joey from Abigail. You'll remember that character. So number 17, Abigail.
Oh, I like it. Okay, moving into the top 16 here. 16. I'm going to go with Twisters here. If you guys remember our anticipated list from last year, most anticipated moves for 2024, I picked Twisters to be the sleeper pick of the year. Just because of the director, the guy who was directing it comes from Minari, I think was the flick that won a lot of Academy Awards and stuff. So I knew it was going to be more than what you would expect from a Twisters remake. I didn't know how much more, but I knew it was gonna be well directed, and it was. Now I didn't necessarily like it as much as I did the first Twister movie, just because I try not to do this, but I found myself a lot in this movie just because it's still. It's very similar to the first Twister movie. I couldn't help myself to compare it to it. And that's where it fell short for me, because I was like, the first movie's so much better. I don't know why I would ever really watch this over the first one. But it does give us Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones together in the movie. And I thought their chemistry was tremendous. And I thought that, it was just a great pair to lead this movie. What kind of made it fall a little flat was the rest of the characters in that ensemble. You had Superman in there, who was this very stoic character. And you had, a few other, really nobody else was memorable. The groups of people chasing tornadoes, that was a big part of what made the first Twister a lot of fun. You had all these side characters like Philip Seymour Hoffman, really just making that movie a lot more exciting and a lot more fun. And Bill Paxton was great, obviously, but you had other people to support him. And this movie kind of lacked that. I didn't really like the whatever his name, the other dude's character all that much in the movie. And he,
my gosh, here, give me one moment. I know which character you're talking about here. I think.
Yeah,
I can. About the reporter, or are you talking about Glenn Powell's friend?
I'm talking about Daisy Edgar Jones, Javi, Anthony Ramos.
Oh yeah, Javi. Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking about Boone.
No, yeah, I don't even know who Boone is. That's what I'm saying.
That's Glenn Powell's good buddy. That's in the truck with him for most of the time.
Yeah, see, I don't really know. He didn't stand out. I didn't like Anthony Ramos that much in the movie. Like, not him personally, but the character Javi I thought was kind of flat. But yeah, I thought that the effects were good. We had some good tornadoes in there, some good moments, but it ultimately just when you put it up to the original movie, it just falls flat. It didn't have as much heart to it. It didn't have as much fun. Good. Yeah, the soundtrack that kicked ass, and still a solid flick. I mean, it is still my top 20. I liked it a lot. But I kind of wanted it to be a little bit higher at the end of the year.
Excuse me. You know what? I'll keep that high for you later on as we go for our top 20. But you know what? I'm glad that at least it made it. But yeah, definitely Twisters definitely doesn't hold a candle still to the original Twister. Like, it can't be done. But you know what? Did a great job. I'll explain more about that movie later. But Brad, for my number 16, I need to talk about this movie that just really made my day a wonderful day. It made a wonderful day. What a wonderful day! At my number 16 with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Brad, you talked about it, so I won't go into much more discussion on it. The only thing I'll just throw in there, because Brad pretty much hit the key marks about Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and why I really enjoyed this movie a lot. But I also like just the first 5 minutes of this movie, because it really paid honor and tribute to the trilogy movies that came before it. So it wanted to give those trilogy its roses before it continues on being its own movie, and it absolutely is its own movie, along with combining some aspects from the trilogy. But yeah, very well done with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's definitely, I think when we did the ranking earlier this year, I think I had as my number 3 Planet of the Apes movies, which very impressive if you get outbeat a movie that's in the trilogy. So yeah, great movie. You all should check it out. And then the other 2 movies that were going to come out later on in the future that would go with this new trilogy. Go watch it. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, number 16.
Solid flick, solid flick, solid pick, solid flick. Okay, here we go to 15, I believe. And this is another one that I did want to be in my top 10, top 5. Felt a little disappointed, I guess, but still really much enjoyed it. And that's going to be Maxine, the finale of the trilogy of the X trilogy there. I thought it, again, it made for a good ending for the trilogy. It's still a very solid trilogy overall. I think it's still, for the most part, stuck the landing. But I did find this to be probably my least favorite in the trilogy. And again, kind of like a couple of these other movies that I talked about, what kind of made it drop a little bit for me is the third act and kind of the places it went, some of the not necessarily the decisions. I mean, I think overall the decisions were fine, the way it ended and everything, but I just didn't like some of the setup in that third act and some of it's hard to talk about in detail without spoiling it. So, but some of it just felt a little weird. I don't know. It seemed like such a contrast to the rest of the movie, but I'll tell you what, it nailed the 80s vibes. It nailed bringing in like the Night Stalker element to it and bringing in Kevin Bacon as this like detective guy that's like on the heels of Maxine and trying to figure out, who she is and all this stuff, and whatnot. That's also kind of connected to the ending too, but I thought he was awesome in the movie. Really made it, brought it up a notch for me, obviously. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that as well. But yeah, I think it's still going to be still here at 15, a little disappointing, but still very solid overall.
Nice, dude. Appreciate the Maxine love there, my friend, because unfortunately for me, which first off, Gavin, what's going on there? I apologize for missing you, my friend. And Davey, I'll get to you right one moment because I don't want to forget you as well. But I wanted to address this comment because this is kind of how I was. Maxine was a huge disappointment. I wouldn't say necessarily huge, but actually, you know what? It has to be huge because unfortunately with this list, it did not make it for me for Maxine. But I would just say it was my most disappointing movie of the year. It's still a strong movie. Still gave it a 4 out of 5, but just with it being the finale the finale of what Ty West was doing with this trilogy, I really just wanted this to be the banger of bangers. And I think that's just on me for putting too much into the movie, but it had it had a lot of the things going for it to do that, but it's just kind of let loose on the third act. That's kind of what disappointed me the most.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, and then let me get back to Davey real quick before I go to my number 15. But Davey Devray, what's going on there, Davey? How are you doing, buddy? You are just throwing out content after content. I've been keeping my eye on you. You're doing an amazing job, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Crushing it. Love to see it too.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? It's just kind of strange.
I don't even want to know where this is going.
Okay, Brad, of course you know where this is going. Don't come in, man. Do you not learn by now? My number 15 is going to have to be Strange Darling with Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner. Which, first off, they were great together in this movie, which I'm not going to talk about the movie because if I even describe one thing about this movie, I spoil it. So I'm not going to do that for you. You're going to have to take my word. You absolutely have to check this movie out. Great. Just a great concept. The cinematography to me is top tier of 2024 in my opinion. It was great to look. It was just beautiful to look at, which of course Will Fisher was beautiful to look at in this movie. But just the cinematography was phenomenal. Will Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner just did an awesome job. And Destiny, I'm just telling you right now, add that to your watch list because it's definitely well worth renting. So definitely do that. So that's all I'm going to say because if I say anything more, I spoil it and I don't want to spoil it for people. You absolutely have to check this out. Number 15, Strange Darling.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Let's stop in it. Let's take a slide into number 14 here. And with that, I'm going to be going with The First Omen. You talked about it already. But this is a movie that was a surprise for me. I had no idea it was coming. I remember like just, maybe it feels like maybe 2-3 weeks before I learned it was coming. I didn't even care because I'm not a huge Omen fan. I like the first movie for what it is. Obviously I respect the hell out of it. But I've never been someone that was so like super drawn to the Omen franchise. I've never seen any other movie in the franchise, just to kind of give you an idea of how much I care for it. I have them all. I've had them all for a long time, but I've only seen the first one like twice. And I think it's a great movie. It's definitely a classic 70s, you know, you know, horror movie up there with The Exorcist, obviously always compared to that. But I never felt compelled to watch the second or the third one or any of the other ones after that. When they announced this, I thought it was going to be shit. Just because it's like, oh, it's a prequel to The Omen. Like, how good can it be? You know, like we've been burned so many times when they try to come back to these great movies from the past and try to do a prequel or a sequel many years down the road. But you know, I had good buzz, good word of mouth early, so I went and I checked it out, and I was actually pretty blown away by it, and it made me like the original Omen movie even more because of the way it leads up to it. This movie leads right up to the moments of the first Omen movie. When I say first Omen in this context, obviously I'm talking about the original, but it's kind of hard to talk about the two and not get them mixed up. But either way, I really like the way that it did that. It created some more intrigue for, you know, Damien and all that. And I thought the main actress, Neil Tiger Free, I think's her name, or Nell Tiger Free.
My man, way to go.
She was awesome in this. And they kind of teased us at the end that they wanted to, you know, that they might do another one of these kind of stories with her as the character, and I'd be all for it.
Same here.
So yeah, it was really good. And this also came out like a couple weeks after Immaculate, which didn't make my list, but that's the Sydney Sweeney nunnery movie. And I remember like seeing that one, and I was like, oh yeah, this is cool, like a nunnery, and there's pregnant people running around and babies, and oh yeah, it's great. And then First Omen comes in and has it hold its beer, and it's a much superior version of that film. I think
to describe it.
That's what they do, man. He's like, hey, you want to see pregnant people at nunneries? Let me tell you what it's about. And I just found it to be like it's a very similar movie to Immaculate, and in some ways that's unfair because Immaculate wasn't bad. I liked it. I thought it was good. It had one of my favorite scenes of the entire year in the ending. But this came out and kind of made us all forget about Immaculate because it was so much better and so similar at the same time. But I mean, it made me appreciate the franchise a bit more. It made me want to come home and watch the original Omen. I didn't, but I really wanted to at the time, and kind of see where the franchise ended up going with the sequels and stuff too, which maybe I'll do that. It did fall for me, and a lot of the for most of the year, this was in my top 5. But it's kind of dropped as a lot of other movies have come out. And I did go back and try to watch it like back in October, and it was a little the rewatch, it was kind of slow at the beginning, but I still think it's a great flick. I love the hell out of it, and I definitely still want to watch it again. And I can't wait to do so. It just had some vibes with it, man. It had, you know, a great setting. So yeah, give me First Omen right here.
I got an idea.
You do?
Week before, we should do a watch party. Week before the Real Horror Awards.
Oh yeah, it's not a bad idea. Although we got a lot of other good stuff to do.
Oh yeah, I know, but just put it on the list just in case if we change our mind, because you just made me want to watch it again. And I think we kind of answered, or you did at least, Adonis's question about what was better, Immaculate or First Omen. But you mentioned a whole my beer reference, so I think I know what your answer was.
Yeah, no, I mean it is. But again, that's Immaculate was good. It was good. I thought the First Omen was great. But don't sleep on it. Sydney Sweeney was great. The ending of that movie again is one of my favorite scenes of the year. So there's some good things in Immaculate as well.
Oh, dude, absolutely. And first off, Jason, J-Man from Backtrack Cinema, what's going on, my friend? Saying the First Omen was great. Absolutely, it was. But I will say this though: if you all like nunneries, like with the First Omen and Immaculate, just wait till February.
Yeah.
Just wait till February, and Brad can tell you a lot more later on. So
yeah.
So let's see here. I just want to make sure I didn't miss any. And it does. Yeah, you're right, Destiny. It does pay a big homage to Possession, which, Brad, I'm not sure if you're too familiar with that movie, but which, first off, it's fantastic. It's a very good movie, and it does. Just again, a big like tip to the hat to Possession. So great call there, Destiny. And then Sebastian, what's going on there? How are you doing? Hopefully all is going well with you, my friend. So let's see here. All right, just try to get my banners in a row. Going to number 14. Let's see here. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not missing everybody. Try to get back my spot. And plus, I'm about to make some people pissed off here. So, because Destiny said, I honestly thought you were about to say The Strangers Chapter 1. Well, Destiny, that's my number 14 is Strangers Chapter 1. And let me tell you, that eating scene with the burger and the ketchup, best cinematography I've ever seen in a horror movie. Oh, wait a minute. We're not doing our top 20 worst movies. So, you know what? I apologize. So, obviously, it's the 1400th movie of all time. So, fuck that movie. So, let's see here. Let's go with my real number 14. Let's go with Alien Romulus. Definitely one of my most anticipated movies of this year. Just for the sake of this was my first Alien. Well, actually, I really honestly can't say this because I did see the original Alien in the theaters in May, and then I got to saw Alien Romulus in August for my for the Alien movie. So really, technically, the original was my first Alien experience at the theater, but I could kind of consider Romulus being that first time Alien watch. Like if we're just thinking of it that way, but this movie, though, Fede Alvarez, dude, this guy gets Alien. Like he just did a phenomenal job with this movie. And to my surprisement, with how much he uses the face huggers in this movie, more than any other movie, honestly, combined with that's how much he's used the effectiveness, the scariness of the face huggers. And then, of course, the xenomorphs looked phenomenal in this movie. So those are the aliens. But what really makes this movie is our characters, Brad, with Rain, which you mentioned that actress earlier with Civil War being, Kirsten Dunst's kind of like side chick or sidekick or however you want to mention that. And then let me get the other guy's name because he deserves a big shout out as well. David Johnson. Hopefully I pronounced his name right. If not, Tony from Flopbuster can correct me because what's going on there, Tony? I just saw you in the chat. But yeah, this movie was awesome. But Brad, we're about to box right here. Those last 10 to 15 minutes, damn it. And I'll let you go in more detail. I'll let you go into detail with that, but that's all I'll just say. Kind of like a smooth transition to Alien Romulus later on. But number 14 for me is Alien Romulus.
Yeah, I mean, that's a divisive ending, man. Even in the chat, a lot of people are divided on it. Some people love it, some people hate it. Number 15 for me, I think, is where we're at.
Let's see here. No, we just got done. Actually, sorry, I hate the way StreamYard has set this up. 14. So we are at 13.
13. Yeah, sorry. 13 for me. Getting close to that top 10, man. 13 for me is Lucky 13, and that's going to be Late Night with the Devil. We talked about it earlier. This is a late night talk show kind of movie. With I gotta throw some kudos out to David Dashelman, I think is his name, is how you pronounce it, something like that.
He's a real heavy favorite for the Real Horror Awards for Best Actor.
As he should be, because he's a dude who's always like, he's been in some stuff, but a lot of the bigger things he's been in, he's like some very small character, like The Dark Knight and a couple other things that Christopher Nolan's done, where he's like, there's something about him that, he stands out. But he's never really, at least in my experience, has been the lead in the movie. And when I saw him on the poster for this, I was really excited. So yeah, I got a lot of buzz coming out. It was, really high on Rotten Tomatoes and the ratings and all that. A lot of anticipation for the movie leading up to it. And it came out. He's like a late night TV show host, doing a show on Halloween about demons and stuff like that. You got the skeptic guy out there, which I thought was a good character to kind of throw in, kind of playing the audience, being that skeptic audience member that's trying to point things out. And then how he tries to explain everything that's going on with this weird ass night on Halloween where all this crazy shit's happening. You have the skeptic out here coming out and explaining things for people, and it all makes sense. And then obviously the ending gets crazy, but there's some really good sequences in this. I like, there's that scene with the worms and the dude and the hypnotization and all that stuff, which I thought was really awesome. Yeah, all that stuff was great. And what I really liked about it is that it's almost like a modern version of found footage, where it's like it feels, because found footage is like, oh, it's a movie. It's like, oh, it looks like you just found this film reel and you're watching it, and this is what people went through. This makes you feel like you're actually watching a late night TV show, maybe like a documentary of it, because there are some behind the scenes things going on as well. But it makes it feel genuinely like that, which was a really good experience. I thought it was a unique kind of premise for it all to be set on this one night of TV. And yeah, I like how it makes you feel. There's little segments of it throughout where you kind of feel like something crazy is going to happen, but it doesn't really explode until the end. But you have the scene like there's a random fucking dude in a costume in the stand that the camera kind of sets on for a second to make you think that some crazy shit's going to go down. Little things like that throughout that just kind of make you feel a little unsettled. And then when you get to the third act, shit hits the fan, man. You just, I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, but yeah, it gets crazy. I love the ending of it. It's just one that I don't know how often I'll rewatch it. But at the end of the day, it's still one of the best movies of the year for me.
Hell yeah, dude. That is freaking awesome. Let's see here. What is my lucky number for number 13? Which, oh, shoot. Yeah, Desi, you're right. When I was watching Twin Peaks The Return, I did notice him too. And of course, I had to do me a little Leo. Exactly what I did when I saw him. So I thought that was cool that he was in that show. So let's see here. Okay, my lucky number 13 for me, Brad.
Oh boy, that creepy ass smile of yours.
Yeah, I have to bring it into the equation, man. My number 13 was freaking Smile 2. And I could talk about the Smile entity a lot, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give most of this credit to one person in particular. Sky Riley, played by Naomi Scott. Holy shit. Talk about an actress giving their freaking all for this movie. Naomi Scott did that. And not only that, just the cherry on top, she gives us a killer soundtrack with the Smile 2 soundtrack, because I downloaded the whole album on my phone and I'll listen to it. If I just, feel like a little crazy, I just pop on that album. It just really just takes me into that world of Smile 2. But man, the entity was scary. I actually thought this was way better than the first movie. I know a lot of people say that the first Smile movie was better, which don't blame you all for that, because the first Smile movie with Mrs. Bacon in it, what was it, Brad? Sophie Bacon?
Yeah, Sophie or something, I think.
Oh, Sophie Bacon. Yeah, because Chris, I think, corrected us every time we kept on saying Sophie. But yeah, she was great in that first one. But I just felt like what Naomi Scott did in this movie was just so much better. And I'm hoping she gets some votes for Best Horror Actress for the year 2024 at the Real Horror Awards. We'll find out on Sunday and Monday when that poll arises. So yeah, I was just really surprised with this movie. I really enjoyed the hell out of this movie. And those last 10 minutes get fucking bonkers. So what you waiting for? Check out Smile 2 at my number 13.
Hell yeah, Birdie boy. Let's see. I'm at 12 now. This is one I just watched a couple weeks ago as well for the tournament, and that's going to be Heretic. Glad I finally got a chance to see this movie because it rocks. Hugh Grant is another one of my favorite performances of the year, up there with James McAvoy and whatnot. He was fantastic in this. Again, not a movie I really ever expected seeing him in. It's this horror movie where he's like the bad guy, but he freaking takes it, man. You got these two gals going out there knocking on a door, trying to get people to find Jesus and whatnot, and they knock on his door. You guys probably seen the trailer if you haven't seen the movie. And it's all like, it's a really tense scene, but it's like, it's also so like, at first it's kind of like innocent. She's like, they're knocking on the door. They're like, oh, we had an appointment with him. We're excited because one of the girls is like just getting started. And wants to get her first like conversion or whatever. I can't remember, like, whatever. But either way, she's really excited. She's really motivated to do that. And she has this appointment with this dude. So they knock on the door. She's really like, again, encouraged and everything. She feels good about it. He opens the door with his charm and all this stuff. He's like, oh yeah, I want to learn about all this stuff. Teach me about it. My wife in here is making a pie if y'all want to come in, and all that stuff where they come in there. Come to find out, this movie has a lot of intriguing things going on. It brings up a lot of intriguing points. It's a good like religion horror movie that really kind of brings up good points on both sides. And yeah, I mean, it's just, yeah, it was solid. I thought the writing was really clever in general, and kind of at bringing both points of view into the story and whatnot. And yeah, it just seemed like a really kind of smart movie. And I was digging the ride quite a bit. It does have some crazy stuff. Once they get down in the basement, some crazy stuff going on down there. But at the end, I felt a little disappointed with how it ended. I kind of wanted more of a holy shit kind of ending, and I thought the ending was kind of flat in this movie. But the build up to it was exquisite. And I think it's one of those that I'm still gonna pick up on things the more you rewatch it and appreciate it more the more you rewatch it and whatnot. And that Hugh Grant performance is always going to be there as well. I love the hell out of it. It's Heretic, whatever number we're on, 12.
Number 12, yeah, dude. And I will say one thing about Heretic that kind of pissed me off. I immediately dropped out of my top 20. If one of your characters' favorite fast food restaurant is Burger King, I fucking hate you.
That was dumb as fuck, dude. Yeah, Burger King is nobody's favorite fast food restaurant. Like, I don't care who you are.
Unless prove me wrong in the chat, but yeah, I agree. So, like, if you say Burger King's number one, something's wrong with you.
People like the Whoppers, but then they shit on the Taco Bell, and Taco Bell is like, easy.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah,
I mean that's
like,
the best.
I hope they fuck it. I hope they burn in hell and die. Especially, by the way, get those new chicken nuggets at Taco Bell. Very delish. So let's see here. We're at number 12. So let me go ahead and go with my number 12 because I love being a bad boy. Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do when they
come for you? Yes, sir. So my number 12 is freaking Bad Boys Ride or Die, the fourth installment to the Bad Boys franchise. And man, talk about Brad just loving 1 and 2, and you really just didn't want to see this movie go because, like, you just feel like 1 and 2 was just awesome. And then 3 happened and really brought us back to the world of Bad Boys, of how much we actually missed it without us realizing we missed it. But then number 4 just takes it to a whole nother level, especially going more towards the side of Martin Lawrence's journey in this movie. And I thought they did a really good job with his character. Will Smith just being Will Smith, even after the slap from hell. But the slap from hell, that's funny. Will Smith, yeah, he was still really good in this movie. But man, I'll just tell you right now, I'm not going to say why, just the hidden MVP of this fucking movie. Who the fuck's Reggie?
Reggie was fantastic, dude.
Because I'll tell you this, you're gonna fucking know who Reggie is at the end of the as you're watching the 4 or 5 Bad Boys movie. That's all I'll say on that. But yeah, Bad Boys 4, freaking hilarious, great action, just a great installment into this franchise. You should absolutely check it out if you're indeed a bad boy. Or a bad girl. There's some bad girls in this movie too, some badass chicks. So yeah, if you're a bad chick, go watch this movie as well.
Yeah, Bad Boys 4 is actually my number 11 here, so we'll keep talking about it. I thought that not only was the movie like comedically as good as the franchise gets, really, I thought the comedy aspects of this movie were absolutely exquisite. Martin Lawrence, like you said, takes a bigger role. I mean, I wouldn't say a bigger role, but it takes more of the focus in this one than he usually has. And I love it because we don't see him in a lot anymore. When he came back for Bad Boys 3, that was the first time I saw him in a long time. And now he comes back in 4. He's kind of getting back into his classic Martin Lawrence shit, eating hot dogs and Skittles and all this crazy stuff.
Brad, I need ginger ale.
But I love it because like the story is set, like he has like a early in the movie, he has like this health scare that sets him on you can't eat that shit anymore. Can't eat his Doritos and all this stuff. But while he's in this health scare of his, he has an epiphany. And he has this whole thing in the movie, this whole running gag where he can't die. He keeps saying that it's not my time yet, Mike. I can't die. So he's doing all this crazy shit because he knows he's like I can't die, so it doesn't matter what I do. So you kind of see him take some more risks in this movie and all this other cool stuff, which I liked a lot. But outside of the comedy, the action was done really well. You had a lot of good like first person views of some gunfights and stuff, and the way that if you saw that camera that they mounted on Will Smith that kind of swivels around, it gets his face and it turns back around and it's first person. I thought that was really cool, and it made for some unique action shots that I really don't think I've seen before. So I thought they kind of they stepped up their game in that regard. I also like the fact that they introduced some new characters in Bad Boys 3, and they brought them along here and continued to add on them in this movie as well. And to the point where you can do some more action sequences, and you don't have to have these two older guys carry most of the load. You can kind of spread that out. You can bring in these new characters and let them do other things. So it was a good blend, but they're still the ones bringing all the comedy and doing all their stuff, and their chemistry is still as good as ever. So I love to see it, man. I hope they crank out a few more of these, because they're still they're hitting, and some of the best moments of the franchise in these last couple of movies. So I love it, man. Yeah, if you haven't, like Antonis, if you haven't seen them, go out there, check them out. Fantastic flicks.
Yeah, you'll have really a lot of fun with that franchise, especially the second one. They fuck like we do.
Marsupials.
So my number 11, Brad, I'll be honest with you, with this list, this was the hardest thing to do, is to figure out what was number 11 and what was number 10. And you're going to find out why. I know you're in the process of watching this particular movie, but hopefully when you're done with it, you can understand why this was so freaking difficult for me. But I got to listen to my heart. Like Martin Lawrence told me to listen to my heart. So my number 11. My number 11, Brad, I had to go with Honora, with Mikey Madison in it, and my God. First off, absolutely gorgeous in this movie, but so how can you beat out a gorgeous woman like her? It's just her just showing her actress ability. I know we all know her as the freaking crazy chick from Scream 5.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
And hey, they both got roasted. But in this movie, hey, she gets roasted again. No, I'm just kidding with you. That's just a hot joke. But honestly, though, she is an amazing actress. I'm just saying, this movie right here is going to open doors for her to more high-profile roles. And I really hope she actually wins the Brad, what was coming up? The Oscars or Golden Globes?
Golden Globes are first, and then the Oscars are after that.
Okay, yeah, and I sent you all the Golden Globe nominees, and rightfully so, Mikey Madison deserved to be a part of it. So I really hope she wins, even though that's such a tough category. So I'm just hoping. But man, she just makes the movie. She just shows her range in her acting ability. And also the tone of this movie is what surprised me the most. It tells you kind of like it's this one thing. And then as soon as this particular scene happens, bam, it becomes a whole nother movie, and you are just along with the ride, a great, great ride. So I'm not going to say any more because I want Brad to finish out Honora, because I know you just got started watching it. But Brad, hopefully you are seeing what everybody's been saying about Mikey Madison and how great she's been. So my number 11 is Nora.
Yeah, I've been loving it so far. At the pace it was going, I'm probably about halfway through.
So you're at the part I just talked about where it just switches.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I think it would probably crack into the top 10. I mean, it was looking good. We'll just have to see how it ends up and whatnot. But yeah,
and we'll have to do this stream all over again. So what?
I know it, man. I know it. Okay, number 10 for me. This is a movie for some reason I think people have been hating. I don't really know why. It's Gladiator 2. Ridley Scott comes back to the Gladiator world. And yeah, I mean, whenever this was announced, I was like, okay, this doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know why you would ever do a sequel to Gladiator. There's a lot of jokes being made about Russell Crowe and how his character died in the first one and what are they going to do? Like, you can't do all this stuff. So I mean, I didn't know either, but it came out, it got decent reviews. So I was like, you know what? Let's check out this movie. And we did. And I actually really enjoyed it. I didn't really think it missed from a quality standpoint. It wasn't too far off from the first one. Now, the first one obviously has a lot more going for it. I think, obviously has a more original story because it's the first movie and all that. But either way, when the movie first started, I was a little worried because it seemed like it was going to basically be a remake of the first movie. It seemed like a very similar start with how things were going. And I was like, oh, here we go with another one of these sequels that are actually a remake. But it ended up changing some things up and doing its own thing. And it follows the events of the first movie by about 20 years, give or take. And I actually think it adds to the first movie. I think it does well to add on to Maximus's legacy and whatnot. If you can get by that, I know for a lot of people, Gladiator might be one of their favorite movies of all time. It might be something that, you absolutely love. You watch it all the time. It's, 5 out of 5. For me, Gladiator's not that, the first one anyway. So maybe that's why I like the second one so much. I love it, but it's not one that I grew up with. I just watched it for the first time a few years ago. And I think it's a great flick and fully deserving of all the awards that it got and all that stuff. The theme is amazing. Bertie and I saw that in concert with Hans Zimmer. That was amazing. But yeah, I thought this movie, if for me, as somebody who's not, who doesn't live and breathe Gladiator, I thought this movie was fantastic. I thought it was a very, good sequel. Again, it added to the first movie. It made me want to go back and watch the first movie again. And I think it does a good job of tying to that movie, but also being its own thing. And Denzel Washington, man, he was fucking great. So was Paul Mescal as the lead role. Now, I will say this: if they would have put Timothy fucking Chalamet in here, which they almost did, as the lead role, I wouldn't have seen the motherfucker, and I wouldn't have liked it if I did see it. But I wouldn't have seen it, so I wouldn't have had any commentary on it. But today, it's Paul Mescal. Makes a lot more sense for this role. I thought he was great in this. Performances all around were good. Brian Quinn's in here, Bertie, as one of the emperors. I thought he was great as well.
Yeah, Joseph Quinn, not Brian.
Sorry, I don't know who Brian is. But he can fuck off.
I was about to say, who? I said Brian.
Yeah, he can fuck off. But I thought it was great. It was a good action flick. I had some good sequences when they filled up the Coliseum with the water, and there were sharks in there and shit. When they had that big boat battle, that was really cool. So yeah, I dug the hell out of it. So give me Gladiator 2. I will say there are, it's not perfect. The story, I like what they did with the Denzel character, but the stuff with the emperors was a little, I feel like they could have been involved a little bit more, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I loved it.
Hell yeah, dude. I fucking love it. We need to have Brad and Timothy to fight in a cage to end this beef. Dude, it's not really any beef. It wouldn't even be a competition. Brad just puts the master lock and he will break that fucker like a twig.
Sweet chin music. And my damn brother at Christmas gave me a get to know. I opened up one of my gifts from my brother at Christmas, and it said things you don't know about Timothy Chalamet. It's a whole book of things about Timothy Chalamet. I threw it in the trash, but then he pulled it out and threw it in my car when I was leaving town. So I don't know what the fuck that was about, but I hate the guy. It sucks that he's doing the Bob Dylan movie, because I wanted somebody real to do that. But to me, he's kind of like the state of Alabama. He just doesn't exist. He's more of a state of mind, really. He's just, he's not something. Yeah, he's not a real person.
Well, I'll take. Man, I was like, do not mention that to my brother, because my brother actually thinks he's the best actor in Hollywood right now.
No, get the fuck out.
I know we had a fight. We had one of our friendly fights about how wrong he was. So agreed to disagree.
But apparently he is like the Gen X guy, or Gen Z. I don't know whatever generation he's in.
We're too old for that shit.
He's like the guy. Apparently, that's the word from the bird. I don't agree with it. I don't think he's that great. And the thing now, I get that I've only seen a couple of his things, and those things are Dune, and I think his character blows in those movies. And I think that obviously Dune 2 is not on my list. That's a spoiler.
Guess what? Not on my list either. So
and he's a big reason why. And really, maybe it's not him. Maybe it's the director that just makes everything so flat. The characters are so flat, and maybe that's not fair for Timothy fucking Chalamet. But from what I've seen,
it's completely fair.
I don't like the guy because of the way that he portrays his characters. And in the movies that I've seen, I haven't seen Wonka, where he probably has a little bit more fun. I haven't seen Bob Dylan, where he probably gives you a better performance. But I just don't like how, Dune is just not me.
And Gavin says people cheered at my theater during the Bob Dylan movie because they filmed Sings Here. Dude, that's so fucking awesome. Hey, Brad, that could have been your opportunity to put him in the master lock and break him like a fucking twig.
Where was it?
We're about to ask personal questions about where Gavin lives. Gavin,
I was just curious where they filmed the movie at. I didn't know. You made it sound like I could have put him in the master lock, so I didn't know if it would have been in Atlanta when I was there. But
hey, we'll drive back down there and we'll break that fool. Anyways,
sweet chin music.
All right, Brad. My number 10. Again, I told you how 10 and 11 are just a neck and neck, but I have to give this movie. I had to put this movie in my top 10. If it didn't make it, just say I fucking suck. So I can't have people say I fucking suck. But my number 10, Brad, it's The Substance. And I'll go ahead and say this right now. I am not the biggest body horror fan when it comes to that particular genre within the horror genre. You really just have to, you have to really sell me. You have to give me with the story, the visuals, characters, actors, actresses. You really have just to reel me in. And it's very rarely that movies do that. I guess just the popular one on top of my head is, the Fly, my favorite body horror movie of all time. Until The Substance came out. Then The Substance absolutely blew that movie out of the water for being, in my opinion, the greatest body horror movie of all time, in my opinion. And it's all thanks to the two wonderful actresses in this movie of Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley. Hopefully I am saying her name right, because these two ladies were absolutely spectacular, and also give them their props too. They really show you the opposite of manscape, female scape, I think is what it's called. But that's just a lot of bravery for them, being the parts of where they are in their acting careers to show off their body like they did, but it was needed for the story. And so I just give them their roses for doing that. But mainly it's just their acting ability is what really just sold this story strong. And also want to give a special shout out to Dennis Quaid for being a very underrated supporting actor in this movie. I thought his role was great too. And then of course, when we get to that third act, my God, does it go places? And does it make you say three letters? WTF. I guarantee you it'll make you say that. It'll have your jaw dropping on the floor. So if you have not seen The Substance yet, absolutely check it out. It's not too late. Number 10, The Substance. And Brad, while you go for your number 9, I'm going to make me a quick beverage real quick.
Make you a beveragino, and then
a healthy beverage, that is, but
yeah, water, H2O, Gatorade, Pedialyte, whatever. Okay, number 9 for me.
Organic apple juice.
Okay, number 9 for me. This is a little bit, I wouldn't say it's a surprise. The reason I have this movie as low as I do, because I just have a lot of fun with the movies ahead of it. This movie wasn't that fun. Great movie. That's Nosferatu from Robert Eggers, the last flick from Robert Eggers. Just came out Christmas, and I barely snuck it in. I didn't think I was going to get a chance to see it before this, but I finally did. And I think for me, this is going to have a similar effect that The Witch did, where I saw The Witch the first time, and I honestly didn't even know what happened because I couldn't understand the dialogue. When I go back and watch this one with subtitles, I think it's going to go up because I think I'll get a better understanding. I mean, the story itself isn't super complex anyway. It's a story we've seen. It's basically the Dracula story. It is the Dracula story because Nosferatu is based on that. So yeah, it's a fairly simple story, but I think the dialogue is still important. And there were bits of it where I just couldn't understand it because of the ancient dialogue, which I like that. I'm glad that Robert Eggers does that because I love the attention to detail that he puts into his movies. It just makes it hard to understand all the words whenever you're watching it without subtitles on. So when you're at the theater seeing it, you're like, oh, okay, cool. There's some cool shit going on here, but I don't know exactly everything that's being said. Things get dropped in translation. And not only is the accent there, but also there's phrases and stuff that I just don't even know what the fuck they're even saying. There was one, what they keep talking about, I can't remember. There was something they said when they were happy. I don't remember. But either way.
Dude, did that make you laugh when William Dafoe said? I forgot what it said. I need to rewatch it. But dude, that scene, my whole theater just buzzed out laughing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Willem Dafoe was fantastic. Obviously, when you get Robert Eggers, you know you're going to get top-notch cinematography, set design. All that stuff here was the best you've seen all year. It was fantastic. All that stuff was beautiful, and I really hope this movie doesn't get snubbed for awards because it deserves it. I know his movies in the past, The Lighthouse got like one nomination for like effect. I can't remember, like visual something.
By cinematography or something like that.
Yeah, it might have been cinematography. I don't know, but either way, I thought Willem Dafoe needed an Oscar nom in that one. Robert Pattinson as well. They nailed it. So hopefully this movie gets some Oscar love because I think it's very well deservingly there. The performances were great, of course. from Willem Dafoe to Aaron Taylor-Jones. Nicholas Hoult was great as well. Or Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Nicholas Hoult was awesome. Lily Rose Depp was fantastic as the lead in this too. Really, really solid. And Bill Skarsgård, who I knew was in the movie, and I knew he was Nosferatu. Never crossed my mind that it was him watching the movie. His look.
Me too. I literally thought the entire time, I was like, are we sure that's Bill Skarsgård?
Well, I just forgot he was in the movie. That's how good it was. And at the end of the movie, I was looking at the letterbox and I was like, oh, fuck, he was the Count. It was like, it's one of those things which, we all knew. We talked about him being the lead on the channel and stuff. But when I sat down and watched the movie, granted, it was a really hectic week. It was Christmas. I was moving. All this stuff was going on. I was exhausted. I was sitting there watching the movie and I was like, oh, whoever this guy is putting on a great voice. And then it wasn't until after I was like, oh shit, that was Bill Skarsgård. He was not recognizable. It was kind of like a Colin Farrell and the Penguin situation where you just don't even know that it's him. And he was fantastic. I didn't really like the look of the Nosferatu in this. I won't really say why. But that kind of took me off guard. I wasn't wild on it, and maybe it'll grow on me when I watch it again, and I'm not expecting something else. But the voice and the performance and everything that he brought was, I think it tops Pennywise. Because it's a very different character. Pennywise had this high pitch, like, oh, look, Georgie, I can float boats and pop popcorn. And this voice was really deep and it was crazy. And, it was quite the opposite and I thought it was more scary performance than Pennywise. And a lot of that comes to the CGI and stuff. Whatever that kind of pulls me back from that character. Although he did great as Pennywise, I think it could have been a little bit better. And that's more of a directional thing, and not his performance, which he brought his A game. But he was fantastic in this. Again, I think when I watch it again, I have subtitles on. It's going to be one of those that gets better every time I watch it, like The Witch does. But right now, it's sitting at number 9, and again, that's because all these movies ahead of it, I just had such a good time with.
Dude,
and this one I thought was a little long and a little kind of like slow at times. Particularly, like, I love the setup and the opening and all that with Nicholas Hoult going off to like this classic Dracula shit. But there were times where, to me, it kind of dragged a little bit, and maybe that's because I don't know, but it was awesome.
So actually, I think you might have one comment of the night right now. What if he called you and said, "It's me, Bill Skarsgård"?
That was Pennywise, but I would be down. I would talk to him for a little bit and see how he's doing.
Excuse me. Still dealing with this stupid ass cough. But I'll tell you what's not stupid, who's one of the greatest people on the planet. We got Rosie, my dear. Rosie, how are you doing? Where are you? There you go. Want to make sure I get this correctly. There are your roses, your first set of roses for 2025. So go ahead and buy you a big old face so I can give you more roses throughout 2025. But Rosie, we're happy that you're here.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's see here. We're at number 9. And I got to be careful with this one, Brad, because I can't say his name too many times.
Uh-oh.
So I'm just going to say it calmly of Beetlejuice at my number 9. And let me tell you something about Beetlejuice. Fuck, I fucked that up. Anyways, folks, let me go ahead and tell you about this movie. I was really looking forward to this movie, but I'll be honest with you too. I was very concerned for this movie just because I thought they were going to do too much with it that just takes away from the original, or they just wouldn't like get the original and just turn into this. You know what I mean? I know it's hard to explain. I know I'm not making a lot of sense, but I'll just tell you this. It definitely met my expectations, and I had so much fun with this movie. Plus, this movie will always be a memory of me because this is my first movie going back to Regal, and I had a phenomenal time. My whole theater was packed. We were laughing at the jokes. Michael Keaton, the Keats man, he absolutely brought his all into the Beetlejuice character yet again, and he did not miss a beat, dude. Like, years later, this dude did not miss a beat. We own a writer, who we all love, and should be just put inside of a tiny lockbox so we could just enjoy her for the rest of life. Even though I'll release her every now and then to get some oxygen. But she was phenomenal in this movie. I thought Jenna Ortega did a really good job. Not her strongest performance, but she did a good job for what she was asked to do for this film. But the real star of this movie is Catherine O'Hara. I thought everything she was a part of, she stole the movie and stole the scene away from all the other characters. Catherine O'Hara, you beautiful soul, even though you keep on forgetting kids on your freaking airplane trips. How fucking dare you leave a kid home alone? But yeah, Catherine O'Hara, she was wonderful, and I thought everybody did a great job. And it's just great again to see Tim Burton make something that he's passionate about, and that actually makes sense to make. So I was really pleased with Beetlejuice. It was definitely one of the most fun movies I had in the theater, and also I got my copy of the Handbook for the Recently Deceased.
Oh, good. That'll help out.
Oh, just kidding. It's a popcorn bucket. So this was my first popcorn bucket that I've bought at Regal for 2024.
Nice. Hell yeah. Congrats, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. Well, I'll move on to number 8. And this one is Furiosa. Anya Taylor-Joy stepping out of horror, jumping into action, and I thought she killed it. I thought this was a great, I guess sequel to Fury Road, or prequel to Fury Road rather. Kind of leads it does lead right up to Fury Road as well, which I like that part of it. Telling the origin story of the Furiosa character, who was played by Charlize Theron in Fury Road. And yeah, I thought this was a cool departure for Anya Taylor-Joy, and I thought that it was for me it landed. I thought she was good. She doesn't get a lot to not a lot of lines in the movie. She's very much kind of like Tom Hardy was in the Fury Road, where he's kind of just moving forward and doing all this other stuff and not really talking a lot. It's kind of the same thing here with her, but I thought with the way that she brought her physical performance, it worked really well. And I thought too, damn, fucking Thor, his ass, Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I was going to say Chris Pratt and then Chris Pine. And
well, dude, when you looked at his character in the movie, you did hardly fucking recognize him, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though. He comes in and he's irrecognizable in this thing. I knew it was him, but I still couldn't sit there. I was like, are they sure it wasn't Chris Evans the whole time? I was like, I don't know. This is it was crazy. It was another one of those crazy performances with the makeup and stuff that really worked. He's the villain in this and does a great job. So yeah, I think it has some great action sequences, and again, it's right up there with Fury Road from a quality standpoint. It was packed with stuff. So yeah, the cinematography is still top notch as always. The action sequences were very memorable. And yeah, a good origin story. So I loved it for that. And I'd like to see her take on the role again at some point, but it was really cool.
Hell yeah, dude. Let me go with my number 8. You talked about this movie earlier, so I won't go into too much detail about this movie. But we're going to continue with that little Twister talk, man. We're going to go with a little Twister. A little storm is brooding. Number 8, it is Twisters. I love the original Twister, so when I heard they make this movie, I had high expectations for this movie. And honestly, they just knocked it out of the park. Daisy Edgar-Jones, Glenn Powell, like Brad alluded to earlier, amazing chemistry with one another. Kind of almost brought you back to the feels of when you were, my favorite Helen Hunt movie. That and Bill Paxton. It just brought you right back to their chemistry, but it's just set for a newer audience just for them to enjoy. And I'm happy for the new audience. But when you create a song about Oklahoma, especially when Tennessee whooped that ass, kind of hurts. Nah, I'm just kidding. That was just a Tennessee Oklahoma SEC joke. Yeah, exactly, Brooke. The fucking suck zone. We love the suck zone on Good Real Hunting. But the only little grip I have with this movie is the ending, where something I thought was supposed to happen, but it didn't. And then it turned out by rumors that freaking Steven Spielberg has something to do with it. I'm not sure how true it is, but if it is true, shame on that dude. So I wasn't high on the actual last 5 minutes of the movie of how they made it out to be, but with all the tornadoes and the storm scenes and the chase scenes, all that was done spectacularly well. And I just had a great time in Twisters. It was my second ever 4DX movie, and I had a phenomenal time freaking rocking with the seats like this the entirety of that movie, because it definitely blew me away.
Sucked you in. It's a suck zone.
Certainly did.
Suck zone. Yeah, great flick.
And before you go with number 7, we are getting closer to our top 5. So this is like your last chance to get your personal top 5 into the chat, so we can share that before we get into our top 5. So Brad, go ahead. Yeah. Number 7.
Number 7 for me. A movie I had a blast with, Terrifier 3, wearing the shirt. Art the Clown's back at it. This to me was right up there with Terrifier 2. But it was shorter, so I liked it for that. It was appropriate when it comes to the length, where I thought Terrifier 2 was a little bit overblown. But this movie takes place as a Christmas horror movie now. It's going to be roped right into that rotation of Christmas horror flicks, and I thought it nailed that aspect of it very well, with the opening scene with Art coming in like Santa Claus, fucking up a family, which crazy shit going on. It was awesome to see. So it starts off with that, and then it kind of goes back to the weeks before, whatever. Sienna Shaw is coming in here as the Sienna. Is that her name? I don't know.
Yeah,
her name
Sienna
is Sienna.
Shaw.
Okay.
Played by Sienna Lavera.
Yes. Okay. So Sienna comes in, and she's kind of dealing with the effects of the second movie, and she's going through all this therapy and stuff like that. And it's kind of your similar slasher sequel storyline from that regard, but she kills it again as the lead, and Art's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. He's fun as hell. He's seeing Santa Claus in bars, going in there and having a good time with them, pulling more surprises out of his goodie bag, and just wreaking more havoc on people, dudes. Playing with kids at the mall, and all kinds of good stuff as Santa Claus. He's just so fucking goofy. But at the same time, it's just such a contrast with how goofy he is and how heinous his kills are. I love it. It's like we haven't seen anything really like this before. And I think they just keep getting better. Honestly, every time they make one of these, they just tweak it a little bit and they make it even better than the last one. 2 and 3 are very close to me, for me, I should say. But this one, I appreciate the runtime, and I appreciate the Christmas stuff they added in. The chainsaw sequence in the shower, all that stuff was fantastic. He's funny as hell. I don't want to fuck him, and he's over there like,
and he stinks.
Yeah, I know. He's great though. A lot of memorable kills. It was good seeing Chris Jericho back in the mix too, of course. It was great. It was just a fun ride, and I can't wait to throw this one on again, probably next Christmas.
Hell yeah, dude. And unfortunately for me, I didn't get this movie into my top 20. It missed it by a couple of spots, but maybe in the future I could put it right back in my top 20. But I'm not quite there yet, even though I enjoyed the movie as well.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. We got Blu-ray Addict. What's going on there, Blu-ray? I made it back in time to catch the rest of the stream. Dude, thank you so much. And hopefully your New Year's resolution, if I am willing to guess what that is finally defeating that addiction to Blu-rays, my friend. Hopefully you can do it. I believe in you.
You're going to do it. 2025 is going to be your year.
Absolutely. So my number 7, Brad, you alluded to this, so I won't go too much longer into it, but it's Furiosa. And honestly, Brad, this is my most disappointing movie of the year. Wait for it. By the audience. Shame on. This is the movie where I'm actually really mad at the audience, because it had no business bombing at the box office like it did. It still blows my mind why it bombed so hard. It came out on Memorial Weekend. No excuses. This movie was fucking amazing, dude. Anya Taylor-Joy as Furiosa, she knocked that shit out of the park, dude. And she was like the perfect origin story, building up to Charlize Theron. She was perfect for that. Anya Taylor-Joy was definitely, you could just say with everybody, they were all in on this movie, especially Chris Hemsworth, which alluded to earlier, but he was hardly unrecognizable. Of course, you could kind of hear it, the Hemsworth voice in his throat just a little bit, but dude, he freaking knocked it out of the park. The action scenes were great. Do I think this is better than Mad Max Fury Road? I would say no, but it's not by off that. It's like, I'll just let you know how close that is. That's how close the differential between those two movies are, because both movies are phenomenal. So honestly, I really just hope for people to give Furiosa another watch, or they give this movie a watch, because it definitely is the most disappointing movie, in my opinion, this year from an audience perspective of how disappointed I am in them, because they didn't go support this movie like this movie should have been supported. So I'm going to do it. Number 7, Furiosa.
I dig it. I dig the hell out of it, man. Okay, number 6 for me, Smile 2. Big surprise. I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did, but I did. I liked it more than
I told you.
Yeah, you told me, and I went in there and I liked it more than the first movie. I wasn't huge on Smile when it came out. I remember it got a lot of buzz and stuff, and I went and saw it. I think I saw it on Paramount or whatever after it came out on streaming, and I was like, "Yeah, this movie was all right, but it wasn't anything." I don't know why everybody's like, blowing up over it. And Smile 2 came out, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was one of the best horror movies of the year, and it made me go back and watch the first one immediately after, and actually like the first one a lot more on rewatch. I still like the second one more. But yeah, it was great. Naomi Scott was absolutely fantastic in the movie, playing the character of Sky Riley. She's a pop star, which adds a lot of cool elements to this Smile curse, if you will. And I just like the psychological aspects of it. You don't know what's real, what's not real. The whole movie, it's having you going back and forth, and in our version of reality, especially Naomi Scott's character's version of reality. So I like it for that. I think, for some people, it maybe went a little too far in some spots where they're like, oh, come on, what's going on here? But for me, I thought that was really intriguing. I mean, and I know a lot of people complain because it's maybe too similar to the first Smile movie. But I don't know. I just kind of look at it they started things off in Smile, and they did a lot of the similar beats in this movie, but I think they did them better in this movie. I think they added more layers to it. I think they added just a little bit more intrigue with the characters and whatnot. So I was all about it. Like you said, the music was good, with Naomi Scott doing the vocals to the music as well. And the choreography within some of the musical sequences, that was great. It was really cool. So I really liked her character in this, and some of the things they did to, try to beat this thing. And I thought the opening shot of this, or the opening scene rather, with Kyle Gallner, this was another one of my favorite scenes of the year. It was a one-take shot that went on for several minutes, and a lot of crazy shit was going on in that sequence, which I thought was just a really good, well-directed scene overall. It's cool to see such good direction in horror movies, because that's how it gets attention in this genre. So that was really cool to see. Parker Finn did an amazing job. I love one-take shots, and this is one of the best I've seen in a while. So really cool stuff there. Kyle Gallner killed it in his time. So that was good to see as well. So yeah, give me Smile 2. I just had a blast with it, man. It was actually pretty scary at times too.
Dude, hell yeah, dude. I love that appreciation for Smile 2, my friend. Real quickly, let me tell you my name. My name is Woodinator.
Oh gosh.
Oh, come on, dude. I'm just kidding. My name is Bretman Stewart, and I'm one of the co-founders of Good Real Hunting. In this life or the next, I will have my revenge on those bots.
He will, and he's going to be guaranteed to have at least one popcorn bucket with him when he does it.
Absolutely, just like this baby right here. So, love you. But I got to talk about freaking Gladiator 2, my friend, at my number 6. Because, again, I had high expectations for this movie, too. Again, I was nervous about this movie because I was just thinking, why the hell do we need a sequel for the original Gladiator when the original Gladiator was, freaking golden reel 5 out of 5 Russell Crowe as freaking Maximus? Like, how the hell are you going to beat it like that? But this movie did an absolute phenomenal job paying that homage and respecting the movie that came before it, taking some of the concepts from Gladiator and putting it into this movie. So that identity of Gladiator is there for those hardcore Gladiator fans. But what I really appreciated more is how this movie is its own thing. I thought everybody in this movie was perfectly casted and did a great job. I'm with you, Brad. The only little problem I had with it is just the twin emperors. I wasn't too crazy into it. I felt like they should just fully gave it to Joseph Quinn and just let him freaking go all in on his character, because I felt like that could have been something very special as an antagonist. So that disappoints me a little bit. But yeah, other than that, though, dude, I thought everything was great. Denzel Washington is up for a Golden Globe for his performance, and I think it's absolutely well deserved, because I think, in my opinion, Denzel Washington is my favorite African American actor of all time, because that dude do not miss in any role that he's given. But yeah, I could gush about it, but you heard a lot from Brad. Hopefully I add some things that weren't mentioned, but I thought this movie was great. I don't get the hate either. I thought this movie was brilliant for what it was. Number 6, Gladiator 2.
Nice pick. Nice pick. Number 5 for me, Strange Darling. Cranking into the top 5 with Strange Darling. This is kind of underrated, I guess. I mean, I think a lot of people in our community talk about it, but in general, it's not one that's you hear a lot about outside of that. It's not really a horror movie. It's more of like a thriller, I guess, but it's, it has some horror elements in it for sure. Yeah, it's about a serial killer, but it's told in a non-linear style that really serves this movie well with the way that they choose to tell the story. It breaks it up into, I think, 6 parts, and it starts at part 3 and then goes to part 1 and then jumps to part 4. And the order of sequences really gives you a unique viewing experience that really just kind of keeps you guessing the whole time you're watching it. So I really like it for that. Yeah, it thinks, when you first started out, you're like, oh, this is pretty generic, but you never really think it's generic either, because of the way that it's shot and filmed and the shots are made and all this other stuff. It's done really well, and you can tell right out from the get-go it has a style to it. It almost feels like not from a dialogue standpoint, but from a I guess a production standpoint, and from the way that it's edited, it feels a little bit like a Quentin Tarantino flick. And like you said, Kyle Gallner was great in it, as well as Willa Fitzgerald. I thought this was the best thing I've seen her in, and same thing probably for Kyle Gallner as well, who's kind of a horror staple, but I've never been particularly that fond of him. I know he did like Haunting in Connecticut a long time ago, and I fucking hated Nightmare on Elm Street. And he popped up in Scream for a couple minutes, and whatever, and Smile as well. But I think by far this is my favorite thing he's done. He was great. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I think you'll be surprised with it. I know, you hear serial killer movie, you're like, oh yeah, it's boring, but this one is a bit unique, and it's awesome. So it's definitely one of my favorite movies of the year.
And I'm actually glad you mentioned Smile with Kyle Gallner, because I don't need a Smile 3. I need a Smile movie that's set between 1 and 2 with Kyle
1.5.
Gallner. That's what I fucking need.
Absolutely. So, although I definitely want a Smile 3 though too, because that ending was pretty wicked.
Yeah, I know. And I keep on seeing good ideas for the script, so I'm actually looking forward to Smile 3 as well. But before I go with my number 5, Brad, I want to shout out these lovely people from the chat with their top 5s real quick, and we won't go into detail. We're just going to mention them. Sergeant Shitty has Furiosa, Terrifier 3, Deadpool and Wolverine, Sonic 3, and Nosferatu. Good list.
I like it.
And then we got Blu-ray Addict, where he has number 1, or let me go here. Number 5, Terrifier 3. Number 4, Maxine. Number 3, Alien Romulus. Number 2, D.I.D.I. Not sure what that is. If you don't mind to let me know what that movie is. And then number 1 is The Substance.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then the other one I got here, see here, number 5 is Beverly Hills Cop, Axel. Brad, you mentioned that movie earlier. Number 4, Longlegs. Number 3, Alien Romulus. Number 2 is Maxine. And number 1 is Late Night with the Devil with honorable mention, Abigail. Dude, great top 5s, everybody.
Dig it. Dig the hell out of it.
Oh, and also, I think we got 2 new people in the chat, so I gotta mention them first real quick. Brian Sanchez, I believe you are new here. What's going on there, Brian Sanchez? So everybody in the chat, you know what to do. Make him feel welcome as he's all the way from freaking Albuquerque, New Mexico. We have a high school buddy that was originated from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
He was from Las Cruces, but still the same state.
Well, fuck. I suck. So,
yeah,
if you're, buddy,
but hey, Walter White. Walter White's from there. So is
see, nice recovery.
Yeah,
nice fucking recovery. And then our other new person we have here is Keaton. Speaking of freaking Keats, man, we got Keaton here. What's going on there, Keaton? Welcome to Good Real Hunting, and everybody, you know what to do. Make Keaton feel welcome. I know this won't happen, but Naomi Scott deserves an Oscar nomination for Smile 2. You fucking right she does, but unfortunately she's not going to get it because they don't respect the horror genre, which I know I was about to say, although with the exception of Demi Moore, which I'm happy that they were going to give her justice.
And I think Nosferatu's going to get love. And I've even heard it's not really a horror movie, but yeah, so the Nora chick could get some love there as well.
Mikey Madison, yes.
Yeah, Mikey Madison, yeah.
But I know, but we still appreciate her.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Ashton, real quick, with his top 5, we got number 5, Terrifier 3, number 4, Alien Romulus, number 3, Abigail, number 2, Nosferatu, and number 1, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hell yeah, dig it.
Nice. And also, we got somebody else new in here. This is fucking awesome. We got Wilkie's Movies and Music. First off, Wilkie, welcome to Good Real Hunting, and everybody knows what they need to do and say hello to him and welcome him to the Good Real family.
I'm just glad you're not Wilkie's Wonderland because I can't go there.
Brad, yeah, welcome. God, are you kidding me? Welcome. And Gavin, appreciate the comment. I got you, my dude. Number 5, The Substance. Number 4, Honora. Number 3, Strange Darling. Number 2, wow, Monkey Man. I'm surprised Monkey Man made the list. And number 1, it's Mads. And I've been hearing about Mads lately, so I definitely need to check that out.
Yeah, that's one I want to see too.
Yes, sir. So, all right. I think we got everybody here. So, and Aaron Click. What's going on there, Aaron Click? How are you doing, buddy? I know you had a false birthday today. So I'm still going to be the asshole. Happy birthday, Aaron Click. And I'll say happy birthday once more later on this year.
Hell yeah.
So I thought that was funny on social media today. All right, let's see here. Let me get back to number 5 here, Brad. I told you earlier that there's one animation movie I thought just did a much better job in, and just was a better movie in my opinion. And this is just me. This is me being a nerd, and being a nerd is okay on here. Number 5 is Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Brad, have you ever seen the meme online of the fire horse?
I don't think
so. Where it's just they show 3 movies and it shows the ass end of the horse on fire, and then the middle part, and then the head. Pretty much just saying it just keeps on getting better, but they're all fire.
No, I don't think that I'm familiar with this.
I'll have to share that with you here soon. I'll find a good example. But honestly, this is a good example because the Sonic franchise, the first one was the ass end of the horse. The second one is the middle. And then this one, Sonic 3, absolutely the best Sonic movie within the franchise right now. And it's all because of one character only, and that little furball's name is Shadow. Brad, I told you earlier with Transformers 1 that the story and how well they write the characters of Megatron and Optimus Prime does not compare with how freaking amazingly they wrote Shadow the Hedgehog. Because, dude, his character arc, his origin story, it's a gut puncher, man, of how well they did him. Our freaking friends of Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails were great together. Their interactions, their fight scenes. Knuckles was just, again, it's that comedy relief. He was just fucking phenomenal. It's just as freaking hilarious. Just everything with Sonic 3. It's just, if you're a fan of the Sonic games, you're absolutely going to love this movie. And I definitely want to try to go back one more time, maybe even this weekend, just depends on what I'm doing. I like to go see this movie in IMAX, but I think Nosferatu's dominating that category right now, so probably not. But I would be buying this movie immediately to watch in the comforts of my own home. But dude, Sonic 3, it was a fucking blast. One of the best times I've had in the theater, all because of Shadow. He was a fucking badass. Number 5, Sonic 3.
Hell yeah, nice to hear. Number 4 for me.
Oh, sorry. I have to mention one thing because it's very important. This is Jim Carrey's supposedly last movie ever, and he fucking goes all out Jim Carrey. As much Jim Carrey as you ever seen in the movie, he brings it with Sonic 3. Perfect way to send off Jim Carrey.
Hell yeah, dude. Glad to hear it, man. Love that guy. My number 4 for me is going to be Deadpool and Wolverine. This is the third movie in the Deadpool franchise. And yeah, I think it might be the best for me. I just thought, you add in Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, bring him back. It's a multiverse kind of movie, like we've been seeing a lot in the Marvel universe. But having those two in the same movie together, finally, like in this Deadpool world, was magic, man. A lot of the way they kind of balance each other out. You got the kind of drunk, old version of Wolverine. You got Ryan Reynolds as the Deadpool. Just fucking their chemistry is top notch, and the comedy there with them being so opposite and their characters makes it so much fun. But you had a lot of good action sequences in this, some fight sequences between the two of them, and with other people too. Some great cameos. I've been waiting. What does he say? You know how long I've been waiting for this.
Ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself.
Yeah,
I don't think y'all walk away from this. You make sure people know what happened here today.
Yeah, I love it, dude. That shit I was saying for weeks after the movie from Gambit. Absolutely amazing. There's some other fun cameos as well, which just makes the movie that much more fun. But even without those, it was hitting on all cylinders for me. By far the best Marvel movie I've seen in a long time. Not even close. The story was fine. I mean, as far as like what the actual like plot was, I thought that was, forgettable, but that's not really the reason that you see this movie. You're just here to see these two dudes just, have a good time, and that's what you get. I just thought from a comedic standpoint, Disney buying Fox or whatever, and Deadpool coming in, basically being a Disney product, it didn't detract from it at all. It still feels right on, maybe even more so raunchy than the first two, but definitely on par with it. So yeah, I think it was phenomenal. The opening sequence with the NSYNC thing and the bye and all that stuff was great, because you wondered what they were going to do to bring back Logan, after Wolverine after Logan, and how it was going to impact that ending and whatnot. And I thought they did it perfectly. It was fucking funny as hell. So yeah, it's you're like, oh, we're not going to spit on his grave, but we're going to fucking,
they pretty much did that.
But... yeah, they went all in on it. Which I thought was a perfect way to handle it. It was just
phenomenal.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, it was a great time. I love the hell out of the movie. Probably one of the most fun experiences I had in the theater all year. I would say it probably is number one there. So yeah, give me Deadpool Wolverine.
Alrighty, and before I go with my number 4, I want to say hello to Rox M, one of our fellow real hunters on the YouTube side of things. What's going on there, Rox M? With your top 5 of Nosferatu, Wild Robot, which I've heard a lot of great things about that movie, so hopefully to check it out soon. Late Night with the Devil, Long Legs, and then Brad, looky here, Heretic at number 1.
I dig it, man. Hey, it's one of those cerebral films, man. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ashton, I couldn't agree more. This is where my lead into number 4 goes. The opening scene of Deadpool and Wolverine is forever stuck in my head. Dude, let me go ahead and tell you my number 4, because it's the same as that man over there. It is going to be Deadpool and Wolverine as well. And I'll let you know right now, this was the most fun I had in the movie theater. I was laughing so damn hard. The jokes absolutely land in this movie. Especially, I love the beginning, as like Ashton said, it's forever stuck in my head. It is with me too. Sometimes I'll have the urge and I'll just pull up my YouTube video and I'll watch the opening intro of that movie, just because I love it so much. And it's also great too, the reason why that joke lands. And I actually learned this in X-Men 2, Brad. They were in a car ride driving somewhere. Or it's either X-Men 2 or 3. I can't remember. But one of the X-Men, when Logan's driving, and he goes, "Here, let me play some music on." And it plays Bye Bye Bye, and Hugh Jackman just destroys the radio going, "We're not listening to that." Yeah, bam, here we go. So I just thought that joke just absolutely lands. Yes, the cameos were perfect. Yeah, like Brad said, the story, meh, but you're not really in there for the story. You're in there for pretty much a buddy cop movie of freaking Wolverine and Deadpool. Even though they fight each other for most of the part, but you know what? It's just so damn entertaining. Again, the jokes land, the cameos land, everything just lands in this movie except for the story. Hell, even Dogpool, if it could be a bit as big as it is, which I love that adorable thing. It's not the ugliest dog of 2023, so fuck that. But just even if a dog can get over, great. And lastly, if Madonna's hit song could be repopularized because of this movie, you know you're doing something right. So I'm going to be with a prayer for this movie forever. My number 4, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Very nice. Number 3 is a movie that I love the shit out of, and that's Alien Romulus. Nice. I had high expectations for it, and it exceeded them, really. I mean, I thought it was I didn't initially have the high expectations, but when I saw the trailer, I was like, damn, this looks good. And movie came out, exceeded my expectations even then. I love it. I honestly, I think I've been saying it might be a bit controversial, but I think it might be my favorite Alien movie. I love the way that it blends the horror from the first one and the action from the second one, and like perfectly does it. There's scenes of this movie that are really tense and scary and creepy and atmospheric, and there's other scenes where it's just straight up action and you're running from face huggers, and there's guns and there's all kinds of crazy stuff, and there's acid, there's no gravity, there's floating acid and all kinds of cool sequences that we haven't seen before, at least I haven't. That was just really tense and it really blends those two genres, I think, really well. I love the character of Rain. I love the cyborg character in this as well. Forgot his name off the top of my head, but he was great.
I know, and I just mentioned him, so I'm so sorry. I'm blanking too.
Hey, don't worry about it, man. His name was Andy, played by David Johnson. He was awesome in this as well. Yeah, I just thought the whole exploration of this game. So if you guys have ever played Dead Space before, fantastic game. One of the best horror games I've played. This movie very much reminded me of that game the whole time I was watching it. You're exploring this ship in space and it's very atmospheric and it's like, abandoned or whatever. And you're trying to put together the pieces to figure out what happened to everybody on board. And I love that aspect of it. It really creates some good atmosphere. And we know as the audience kind of what happens and how, all this, what's kind of going on, but the characters have no idea. So I like it for that. Like Brett said, there's a good bit of face hugger action in this, which was all kick ass. There's some xenomorph action, which was kick ass. And there's some other things as well. A lot of people are the ending is divisive for some people. I know some people love it. Some people hate it. I think I love it. I think it was highly original. It was something that where you think that, it gets to one point of the movie and we get a nice callback to Alien 2 where Rain's like, stay away from her, you bitch, or whatever. And, you get that callback to that movie and you think that's kind of the ending. And then the whole other thing happens after that, which just really breaks down the door and takes this movie to the next level. In my opinion, I think it just, it does things you don't expect. It does some crazy, creepy ass shit with, the thing there is everything that's going on there is really creepy and scary and really just nonstop at that point. Once that door gets busted open there in the third act, it just goes to a whole other level of awesomeness that I love. So, and I appreciate the fact that they didn't try to be too safe with this movie. A lot of people also say that it is kind of a safe sequel or whatever. I think with what they did in the ending, I disagree with that, and it lands for me very well. So I love it. It created some great moments, probably the most tense movie in the theater this year for me. So yeah, give me Alien Romulus. This is one I can't wait to watch again.
Hell yes. And also, I forgot to mention too the chest burst scene. My God, wherever you get the flashlight and you look inside the girl's body like that, so fucking creative. I forgot to mention that earlier.
Yeah, it was great, man.
Hell yeah. So my number three, and speaking of three, I want to get to Aaron Click's top three real quick because he rounded it out. Number three, Strange Darling. Number two, Long Legs. And number one, again, another mention for the Wild Robot Dude. So that's awesome. So I'm definitely moving that movie up my list.
Nice. I dig it, man. I dig it.
Hell yes, sir. So let's see here. Alrighty. So my number three, Brad. You better let him in now, and it could be nice. It's going to be Long Legs, my friend. And dude, just the promo work that this movie did to get butts and seats was one of the best horror movie advertising, like marketing strategies ever. From the posters, from the trailer, and just a lot of other things they did with this. But what sold me in particular, it was Mika Monroe and Nicolas Cage in a horror movie. I don't care what it's about. It could be about freaking monkeys, or if that's coming out later or early this year, maybe in 2 months away. Actually, same director.
Pretty soon, yeah. Pretty soon.
Yeah, yes, sir. So I was just excited mainly for those two. And then they also throw in a nice tangent to the movie of Alicia Witt, who I think is a phenomenal side character in this movie. But yeah, Mika Monroe and Nicolas Cage were absolutely on the top of their game, and they just brought the best out of each other, and they brought the best out of this movie. But dude, if you just love an unsettling atmosphere, like from the cinematography, as the scenes develop and everything like that, if you just like to feel a little just uncomfortable, this movie freaking does that and much, much more. But I'm going to let Brad talk more about this movie because I know it's coming up, you sneaky son of a bitch. So, my number three, Long Legs.
Let me in now. Number two for me, and I debated putting this at number one. It's probably one of the only movies on this list that I've seen more than once. This and number one are both like that. The rest of them, I think I one and done them for the most part. Not to say that I won't watch them again, but I just haven't. This was one that I couldn't wait to watch again after I saw it the first time, and that's The Substance. You talked about it earlier. Great body horror flick with some fantastic performances that are actually getting the horror genre some nominations in the award season, which is awesome. Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley. Two outstanding performances. And if you haven't, this is directed by Coralie Farragut, something like that. She also did, I need to see, she did something else not too long ago, Revenge on Shudder.
Yeah, dude, I noticed that too.
Yeah. So another one that, and I think she steps up her game here in this movie. Revenge was great, but she steps it up big time with The Substance. It's a movie about an aging actor, person, and she wants to be young again. She gets offered an opportunity to do so. Hence the version that we get of her, the younger version of Margaret Qualley. And the whole movie is about kind of respecting that balance. And I think it says a lot of good things about us as humans doing things when we're young that impacts us when we're older, and not caring about our future self when we're doing these things now and all this stuff, which is really cool. But I mean, from beyond that though, you get some awesome sequences in this, like the transformation sequence in the bathroom early in the movie. That's just really just unsettling and gory as fuck, and just gruesome and crazy stuff. And we get this the deterioration of the Demi Moore character throughout, which is really crazy as well. And yeah, I love to see it. I thought Demi Moore, I haven't seen her anything in a while, but she comes in here and shows us that she still has it as an actor. Still looks great. She's 60, I think, but still not afraid to go all out in this movie when it comes to showing her body, which is really cool. And you touched on that as well. So yeah, I think the awards, the nominations, very much deserved. And it's just a movie that just leaves you thinking. Like I remember I saw it in theaters. I was like, wow, that was quite the ride. I didn't see this one coming this year, but it never left my mind. It was kind of like Infinity Pool last year. where it just never left my mind. Was one of those that you're always thinking about after the fact, and that's why I couldn't wait to watch it again. And I did, and I loved it. Yeah, it's an awesome flick. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Dennis Quaid in this movie too is also like he plays this like douchebag character, and yeah, just basically yeah, he was the direction the direction of this movie is what makes it so good, though. All these scenes with these with the through the direction, they make the audience kind of feel like the characters are feeling. In some scenes it's anxiety, and other scenes it's like just tension and all that, and the way that it's directed with some of these shots and some of these close-ups and some of these kind of weird shots where she's at one point she's in the hallway with a bunch of men, and it's a really uncomfortable scene, and the way that it's shot in the hallway makes it feel that way. So I like it for that. It's got some satire in there as well, which I like. So yeah, give me the substance.
And you also mentioned to me that you even know some Shining references, like with the color, like with the rug and that particular hallway at the building.
Yeah,
and
that video, yeah, that was cool. There was actually not just The Shining, but there was a lot of horror references in the movie. I think I saw it on the TikTok. I sent it to you.
Yes, you did.
The Shining with the colors in the hallway was one. Psycho as well, when she's laying on the bathroom floor. There's a lot of good callbacks to classic movies in there, man.
Hell yes, dude. So, all right, man. Well, let me get to my number 2 real quick. Number 2, it is my favorite horror movie of the year. And I'm actually going to bring on some special guests real quick to announce what my number 2 is. Nosferatu! So, Nosferatu is my number 2, which is kind of funny. Nosferatu at number 2. Get it?
Yes, that's the only reason you put it at 2, so you could do that. I know.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't because of that. It's because
you've been planning this out for weeks.
I kid you not. But it is honestly my favorite horror movie of the year. I literally thought it was going to be Long Legs, but man, Nosferatu, Robert Eggers, you son of a bitch. Make more of these type of movies, please. Like, don't make movies like The Northman. That's because that's what really damaged him. But Nosferatu brought him right back into where he deserves to be with his movies and his direction of his movies. Nosferatu and Robert Eggers, perfect pairing, deadly combo right there. And Brad, you alluded to the actors and the actresses of this movie were phenomenal. Roxanne mentioned it in the chat that the cinematography was just awesome. It was their favorite of this year. I agree with that too. I thought it had the best cinematography, and it will get my personal vote for the Real Horror Awards if it becomes a nominee, which I'm sure it will. But yeah, this movie I had high expectations for this movie. It met all those expectations. I cannot wait I'm like you. I can't wait to see this again and put my movie on subtitles so I can read sometimes of what the hell they're saying, because sometimes they talk like this and you really can't understand what they're saying. But again, it's like you allude to, Robert Eggers just brings that character within the setting of the story that it's in and how the citizens are supposed to act and talk. And yes, Roxanne again, Bill Skarsgård killed it, even though he was hardly unrecognizable. I had to keep telling myself, that's Bill Skarsgård, that's Bill Skarsgård. But it honestly didn't look like him. But I do agree with Brad. I'm not the biggest fan of the look, but just the way how he brings the unsettledness to like every scene he's a part of is exactly what I want Count Orlok to do and to be, and he nails it out of the park. So I could gush over this movie. I freaking loved it. I loved it. William Dafoe, great supporting character in this movie. And last note I want to mention about Nosferatu, Brad. This movie could have really used manscaping back in the day, especially with Count Orlok.
Dude, tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. That was what the fuck with that, man? I mean, seriously, that was one thing I just couldn't get behind, man. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. So I just thought, what? I literally went, what the? I think all of us in the theater literally at the same time went, what the fuck? But again, it's all in the best ways. Number 2, Nosferatu.
Well, number 1 for me, you guessed it.
Let's do it, Daddy.
Long Legs, baby. Yeah, I mean, I've been I haven't hid the fact that I love the shit out of this movie ever since it came out. So yeah, I just think one thing that I love about it is the direction again from Osgood Perkins here in this movie. Really looking forward to seeing his next movie, Monkey or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
He makes this movie in a way that you can it's a very dark tone in the movie. Very evil stuff is going on, but you don't just see it on the screen. You feel it coming off the screen. You feel the evilness coming off the screen. And the atmosphere, the dark, gloomy colors, also the muted colors. Anytime you're, really anywhere, it's muted. Color plays a big part into it. A lot of yellows, and then it turns into some reds as things get a little bit more heinous. All that stuff is fantastic. You mentioned the performances. I won't really go into that because everybody knows those performances rock ass, and you already mentioned it. But I do love the look of the Longlegs character, played by Nicolas Cage here, as well. I thought the makeup was really well done, and I like the fact, like you said in the marketing, they didn't show it. You had to go see the movie to see it. Yeah, I pay to see it, baby, and I love it. And it worked out really well. Yeah, you're doing the thing. I like that. But yeah, there's some great yeah, man. I love the way that you can just feel evil dripping from the screen in this movie, and the use of empty space throughout as well. Something we talked about a lot in the commentary when Chris and I did the watch party that one week when Brett was out of town, and the way that you're always kind of looking around to see, what's in the background because you're in all these dark rooms, and Mikey Monroe takes up such a small part of it, and the way that you can see the devil kind of approaching her throughout the movie. And you get it on a deeper level, and it's like, oh, yeah, this whole thing about Longlegs, yeah, he's a fella, but he's not the main baddie in this movie. It's much more deeper than that, and I like it for that. So yeah, I think to me it deserved the hype that it got before the movie and everything. I mean, for some people it probably felt a bit overhyped, but for me, I love dark psychological investigative thrillers. And this is exactly what was provided to me. The whole movie, I was just blown away. I was like, I can't believe this is actually matching what I expected. So I love it, man. I can't wait. This is one that I've seen, I think, 3 times already this year, which is awesome. Those are the movies, every once in a while, every year, there's like 1 or 2 movies that I have on repeat. Back in 2022 is Halloween Ends. And then last year, it was All X, and now
major upgrade, by the way.
Yeah, no, I mean Halloween Ends kicked a lot of ass too, but
oh god, we're not doing this.
Yeah, so I loved it, dude. Yeah, the interview scene alone makes this movie my favorite of the year. It was so great.
Hell yeah, dude, that's so awesome. And I'm just surprised with me that Nosferatu and Longlegs ain't my number one, because they were my number ones in particular parts. But my number one, it's time to define gravity, Brad. It's time to define it. We have to, because it deserves everything, because this is going to be the movie that's going to be dominating at the Golden Globes and at the Oscars. You have my words about it. My number one is Wicked. And trust me, I did not think this was going to happen for me. Didn't go in with really expectations. I'm not a big musical person at all. When I walked in, everybody was decked out in Wicked cosplays, getting their popcorn buckets, getting their green and pink popcorn. And they even had these 2 girls really cosplayed as freaking the 2 main girls from Wicked, and so people could take pictures with her. And then you go inside with a crowded theater. Again, it just, all that took me out of the way. So that kind of just led me to think, all right, it's time to give this movie a fair chance. I was fucking blown away. I think it's the greatest musical movie of all time. I think it'll be one of those movies that's forever going to be studied. I think it's going to be one of those movies that's forever going to be cherished. And if I'm seeing on my letterbox already, it's one of the most rewatched movies of all time. I think pretty sure I saw one person already rewatched this movie like 10 times already, which is crazy. But just everything about this movie was amazing. The songs were great, the acting ability was great. I actually thought Ariana Grande was going to be a weak point in this movie, but it actually turned out she was the strong point of this movie, which was crazy to me. Just everything from a cinematography standpoint, acting, set design, costume design, the choreography of everything. I thought all of it was just the absolute perfect golden reel, and I had no choice but to put it at number one because it absolutely deserves to be number one. If you've not seen Wicked, or if you're not a big musical person, I challenge you to go watch this movie, because this film in particular is going to make an impact in the movie industry. You mark my words on that. And this movie also makes me very excited for part 2 that comes out later this year. And I might talk more about that on the most anticipated list. You never know. But just right now, to end this stream, number 1 is Wicked.
Wicked. I like it, man. I like it. That was a good list. That was a good list.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we got through it, man. Long stream, but you know what? This is one of our favorite streams to do at the end of the year for our top 20 for best movies of 2024. So let me ask you guys in the chat, or if you're just watching this video, what do you all think about our list, our top 20 movies of 2024? Do you agree with our list? Or is there some movies that we left out that deserve to be on the top 20? Please let us know in that comment section down below. And as always, let's get that discussion rolling.
Yeah, and if you want to help us find the good reels, you can do so by finding us on all of our socials down below in the description.
Abso-freaking-lutely, Brad. I could not agree more. And what's coming up on Good Real Hunting? As we alluded to earlier, the plan next week is to do our top. What is it, Brad? Top 10? Is that correct?
We'll talk about it. There's a couple other ideas we talked about, so we'll. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll let you know in a minute.
Well, I'll still mention it because it's going to happen. We just don't know when it's going to happen yet. But we're going to definitely be doing our most anticipated movies for the year of 2025, because this is definitely going to be a very anticipated year, because it's got to live up to the expectations of what 2024 brought, which I do have high hopes for 2025. But we'll do that, and we got other ideas. And also, like I alluded to at the beginning of the show, the Real Horror Awards will be on February the 6th. That is when we're going to be doing it. And then Sunday or Monday at the latest, that's when the the ballots will officially be released, and it'll be released for a week. And then that is when you will never hear from me on social media, because I will be hard at work working on the Real Horror Awards to make it the best show possible. But yes, when that ballot releases on Sunday or Monday, I would really appreciate it if not only you vote, but if you could also share that ballot with as many people as possible, because our goal last year was to get 200. We missed it by barely 3 people. I would like to try for the goal this year to be 250 votes, different votes.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Excited to see how it turns out this year. There's a lot of good movies to get awards to.
Oh, yeah. We got a fun skit. We got the memoriam. We're going to just pay our respects to the great horror icons we lost last year. So, yeah, we're definitely planning right now to make this the greatest Real Horror Awards of all time. That is going to be my goal, and we will need your help to do it. So, with that in mind, Brad, do you have anything else you want to say before we log it out of here?
No, just Happy New Year, everybody. And I hopefully everybody enjoys 2025. And I know we will here, and it'll be a good time. So we appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Hell yeah. And we got a lot in store for you for the year of 2025 for Good Real Hunting. We're always freaking rising up. Even though, Brad, you can't say that anymore. So I better not hear that out of your filthy mouth about
Rise up.
Oh, son of a bitch. All right. Anyway, so we're going to go ahead and close it out of here. We will see you all next week. And Brad, 2025's here, so I'll let you do the last word of 2025.
Welcome to the new year.